All right, lads and lasses, and g'day, mates. Welcome to another episode of the Toon Under podcast. Our first watch along of the season, Craig. They just cannot get us off the TV at the minute. Nice to be back doing our first watch along of the season. Newcastle against Burnley. How are you going, my friend?
I'm alright. Had a bit of travelling the day. Done about 900k in the car, which is probably about 600 miles for those who still run off Queen of England. But not too bad. Bit tired, but looking forward to this. Yourself?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. A little tired as usual, but it's always the case with us, isn't it?
It is.
Watch the Brisbane Lions lose the grand final. Absolutely good. Yeah, look, let's get into the team lineups. They've been announced. There's one or two surprises in here. Pope at the top, Trips, Lascelles, Shaw, Burn. Then it's Bruno, Longy, Ando, Miggy, Gordon, and Isaac. And I'll just draw attention to the bench as well. Dubravka, Dummett, Jolinton, Tonali, Ritchie, Target, Hall, Livramento, and Murphy. So, first things first, Craigie. You mentioned in the chat just before these were announced, that there was a little rumor going around that Botman wasn't going to make it. Did you find out any additional information as to why he hasn't made it today? Lascelles taking his place?
Not a clue. But he's rumoured to be out for a month. But until we get official confirmation, take that with a pinch of salt. You never know.
A month?
Aye.
What's this on the back of then? I can't remember him getting particularly done in at any point in the last game.
I don't even know what part of his body's injured, but I talk is on social media that he will be out for the best part of a month. But like Dimmy was saying in our private chat as well, Big Joe's expected to be out for 5 weeks and was back within 1 and 2. So who knows?
Yeah, well, that's going to be a bit of a interesting thing at the back there with Lascelles slotted in. Now, Lascelles actually had a really good game last time out. He played really well in the back there. He hasn't played for a long time, and he came in and he did a captain's performance at the back. Any concerns with Lascelles coming in for a Premier League game?
Nah, not at all. If it was against the full strength Man City, then maybe we would certainly miss Botman over Lascelles. But let's not beat around the bush. This is Burnley, the winless this season. They've only scored 4 goals in the Premier League. They've had 2 red cards. They're not the most disciplined team out there, so they're not going to pose as much threat as some of the bigger boys will do. And Lascelles is more than experienced to handle this type of game easily.
Yeah, you've probably given us a kiss of death there, saying that Burnley haven't scored. So it'll be interesting to see how that one turns out. Let's hope it remains that way. Further down the pecking order. So pretty much this team largely picked itself as largely as we predicted. We didn't expect, obviously, Botman to be out. The interesting thing I thought when I did the preview for this one was that I thought Wilson might get a game. Now, he's not even in the squad. What have you heard about that? Have you heard anything at all?
Nah, again, just talk on social media that he was going to be missing. Apparently, he was very close to this game, but rather than taking a risk, I think they've just held him back. Make sure he's 100% ready for PSG in the Champions League midweek.
Aye.
That's my theory anyway. I think that's what everyone else is talking about as well.
Still crazy every time I think about playing in the Champions League, man. Every time I just get that little reminder that we're in the Champions League, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, that's right. So look, if Isaac is starting, which he is, and we need to, let's say we need to change things up at the front. Let's say for argument's sake, we can't get through Burnley. Isaac does a lot of running, doesn't get anywhere. Ben also mind that you probably want Isaac to play against PSG if you can.
Yeah.
How would you see that changing at the top there if we need to, replace Isaac? Maybe he gets an injury or something. How would you see us doing that? I think you said at the start there before we came on that you'd maybe put Gordon up as the striker. Would you be at all tempted to give Jolinton another crack at that one?
Well, in Eddie's presser, he was actually asked if both Isak and Wilson were injured, or there was a point where both of them weren't available for selection, or one went off injured during the game, the other one's not there. He did mention Gordon can play up top. He did do that in the Euros, and summer just gone. Jolinton, we know he's not a natural striker, but he can play in that position if absolutely needed. And he also even mentioned Jacob Murphy is a lone striker as well, which come as a bit of a surprise to me. But Eddie certainly knows better than I do. That's for sure.
I don't know if I'd like to see Murphy trying to be the striker up front. That would be. I mean, as we said in the other game, if he has a little bit too much time on his hands, he tends to absolutely balls things up. But if he's kind of a little bit, he's a little bit more assured with his shots. So if you let's say that we were going to put Gordon up front for argument's sake, would you just bring Tonali or Joe Linton into the midfield and sort of pad out that area and move Gordon up front to try and fill in the striker role?
I think if the game drags on and say there's 20, 25 minutes left to go, I think Gordon up top with his pace might not be a bad idea, and put Joe Linton out wide. Yeah. That could work. Or even if you wanted to put Anderson out wide on the left and have Joe Linton in the middle to give a little bit extra muscle. Because looking at Burnley's formation, which I'm sure we'll touch on, looks like they're maybe going to try and pack up the midfield.
Right. Let's get into Burnley in a second. It'll be interesting. I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't sort of have Isaac going to the left at times and Gordon taking the place and then just kind of swapping around as the game goes on, Let's have a look at the Burnley team. Burnley. So you got Trafford, Taylor, Beer, Brownhill, Roberts, Berger, Ramsey, Cullen, Amdouni, Al-Dakadegidoo, and Collishaw. Again, I mean, you've got Rodriguez on the bench, but I think I said before in another one of these pods, I didn't really know who half these people are. What's your take on, first of all, that lineup, and then how do you reckon they're gonna square up against us in this game? Defensive, I'd imagine.
You'd hope so. I mean, Vincent Kompany's obviously had one eye on the Sheffield United game where we absolutely annihilated them 8-0. So there's no way he's going to come here on the back that they're going to come and attack us from the off. I know that's his style, but they're winless. They've got, I think, just 1 point from 5 games. Yes, they played a game less than a few others, but they need to start picking up points to start climbing up that table. So I do expect a heavily defensive lineup from them. But to what extent, I've no idea. Whether it'll be like Leeds were against us last season at St James's, where they literally just parked us from the first whistle. Who knows? Yeah. But I just don't see that being Kompany's style from the off. I think you'll maybe give it 15, 20 minutes, see how the game settles down, and then you may look at parking the bus depending on how the balance of the game goes.
Now, you said before that you actually want teams to come out and play against us because we've got the pace to hit them down the flanks or through the middle. Got the strikers up top to do the damage. But I think it's fair to say that whenever a team sits back, and obviously we have to remember we're at home here, so we're going to be flying out of traps. We're going to have the crowd behind us. We're going to be trying to do everything we can to break this team down. But if they're sitting deep doing a low block, historically, we're not that great at getting through these teams and getting something out of it. What do we do if that ends up being the case again? I'll not be that confident that we'll end up being able to break them down. Like, we're going to have to try and, I imagine we're going to try and play a little bit of possession football, try and move it from wing to wing, try and move some of the men out of position to try and get behind. I just don't think we're that great at doing that. And as time goes on, especially if we haven't scored, like say it's a 0-0 and we're getting desperate, you can always get done by a sucker punch, can't you? So what we're going to have to do here if they're sitting low and blocking us?
Well, I'm thinking set pieces could come an important factor in this game, just like they were for the pretty much opening 3 goals against Sheffield United. It was pretty much 3 set pieces that opened them up. So if Tripp's his deliveries are on point, then we could be very dangerous from them today. Yes, we won't have Botman in the lineup there, but Lascelles, he always chips in with a goal or 2 every season. He's certainly not shy of whacking a header in every now and again. Burn, he got a cracking header against Sheffield United. So if we're not getting through a direct line of play, then maybe set pieces are the way that we try and open them up.
Trippier was he was on point last time around, wasn't he? He got a hat-trick of assists. 8 different scorers, of course, but his crossing, you can sort of tell early on if Trips is going to be on point, if he's going to be able to hit the man or if he's just going to be hitting the first man, So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on that whenever we get a dead ball to see how Trippier does. Let's quickly have a look at the table here. It's a bit small. Apologies. And also apologies. I took this at 4 or 5-1. Whenever I took it 4-1, it says there. What was the score in the end for that one? The
6-1.
6-1 to Aston Villa against everyone's favourite team in the world, Brighton. De Zerbi, is he still one of the greatest managers of all time, Craigie, on the back of a 6-1 absolute humiliation.
He might have been the greatest manager in Brighton's history, but that's about it. I mean, he is a decent manager, but until like anyone else, until he wins something, does something meaningful, then he's just another manager that comes along, in my opinion.
They don't have to get a lot of smoke blown up their arse, though, Brighton. It seems like everyone's just got a kind of hard on for them. It'd be interesting to see how the commentary goes now that they've just been absolutely humped by Aston Villa. Aston Villa in the third place. So we've got City at the top, Liverpool, then you go Villa, Brighton, Spurs, Arsenal, West Ham, then Newcastle in 8th, Man United behind us on goal difference in 9th, then -3 goal difference. Palace in 10th, and then all the way down to the second bottom is Burnley on -9 goal difference with 1 solitary point. And as you mentioned, Craig, 2 red cards already in the space of 6 games.
Yeah.
Is that...
they've only played 5.
They've only played 5, sorry. So,
yeah,
2 red cards in 5 games, 2 different people, obviously. Is that... That's unusual to have 2 red cards so early in so few games. Are they adjusting? Are they struggling to adjust to the pace of the league this time around, do you think? Or are the tactics leading them into these situations where they end up getting red cards? I haven't actually seen what came before those red cards, so I don't know the actual reasons for it. But like, could we be winding them up? I don't want to have like negative football tactics necessarily, but things tend to get a bit easier when teams are down to 10 men, unless you're Liverpool, in which case obviously they'll still end up bloody beating you. Is there a disciplinary problem at Burnley already this early in the season, do you think? Is there any way we can leverage that for our advantage?
Well, the amount of yellow cards that they've got is bang average with pretty much every other team over the same amount of games. So I don't know whether it was rash tackles or dodgy VAR decision, because I haven't actually seen the red card, so I can't really comment on those. But both red cards have stuck, so it's not as if they've been rescinded or anything, I guess. So I don't know. It could just be the transition from the Championship to the Premier League, where we know the Championship is a lot more physical than what the Premier League is, and some of those players may be struggling with the pace of a game, and it's just catching them off guard. That could very well be what it is. I was actually going to ask you a question. I mean, do you think the quality and gap between the Premier League teams and the Championship teams is greater than it ever has been now?
Well, I mean, if I had that table up for just a few more seconds there, you'd see that the 3 teams that came up, or the 3 teams that are now propping up the entire league, they've all got 1 point each. None of them have actually won a game. It's still early days, of course, but it does sort of make you think these teams that have just came up, Luton Town, Burnley and Sheffield, they're probably going to have a pretty long and difficult season. Again, it's dead early, but Burnley destroyed the Championship last season. They absolutely they won it at a canter. Like they ran away with it. They won it dead early as well. There was loads of games left, and they'd already won it. Luton came up. I can't remember if Luton came up or Sheffield came up through the promotion. I can't remember exactly who was in second. But you think those teams are going to come into this big league and they're going to be kind of hitting the ground running. They're going to have all that positivity behind them. Obviously, all the fans are super excited, and you think they're going to be able to do something that. And I think once or twice Burnley have been in games, so you've got to sort of say, to a certain point they've done all right. Craig has to be the palest person in Queensland. Bloody hell.
I'll agree with that. No bother at all.
Mate, the sun over here is lethal.
It is.
It's absolutely lethal. But what was I saying? The fans, so Burnley have been in a few games. Obviously, Sheffield United have been in a few games as well. They got beaten late on by Spurs, I think it was, before then just kind of having their pants pulled down and getting absolutely humped by Newcastle, which can happen to any team at any time, really. As we've just seen with Brighton, everyone's favourite. They've just got absolutely murdered at Villa Park there, 6-1, huge result. So it might just be a case that they are trying to get used to the pace of the league again, try and get used to the difference in decision making with the referees, and just finding their feet. It's too early to say for sure, but these 3 teams need to start winning games and start winning games soon. to have any chance of staying in this league. Obviously, we don't want them to start doing it today against Newcastle. So, they can sort of, back off on that a little bit. But yeah, we'll have to wait. We'll have to see how they go. I think that the gulf is probably widening. The money is ridiculous. The difference between the money, like I said, I don't know. I barely know who's on that Burnley team, which goes to show that they've done a big rebuild last season, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do well this season in a different league. Hard to say, man. Hard to say. I just hope that Newcastle come out on top of this one. Speaking of which, what was your prediction for the score on this one, mate?
3-0.
Are you going to tip your hand towards scorers? Do we have any predictions in the comments?
I'm not going to go for first goal scorer, but I reckon Elliot Anderson will finally get the goal he deserves today.
Oh, Elliot Anderson, eh?
He's due one. He really is.
Well, I mean, he's been playing pretty well lately. He had a pretty good time against Sheffield. I mean, pretty much everyone else did as well, mind you, but and didn't score, and pretty much everyone else did, mind you. But he's been quite positive, hasn't he? The way Anderson's been integrated into this team, he's done a pretty good job. And then, of course, if he comes off, you've always got the likes of Tonali come on. He was an absolutely brilliant player. Just looking to see him finally kind of find his feet a little bit. I find a little bit like Tonali's just a little bit not quite settled yet. Early days, different league, different team, everything's different. So we'll let him off on that one. I think I'm going to go for a 4-0 win. I did kind of fancy Wilson getting a few in this game, but because he's a bit of a goal mounger, he always finds those nice spots in front of goal, and I find sometimes that Isak does a lot more of the graft up to that point and can still finish, obviously. But I find that in these kind of games, Wilson's probably slightly better choice. Unfortunately, that's been taken away from us with a mystery something. We don't even know what's happened there. I'll tell you what, though. Are you getting any concerned about the injuries that we're picking up right now? So we've got Botman, he's out. We've got who was it? What's his face from Leicester? Harvey Barnes. He's out for 3 months with a knackered something under his toe. Wilson isn't even in the squad, and obviously this is why we spent so much money recruiting all these extra players during the summer and so on. But are you concerned at all that even this early into the season, with the amount of extra fixtures that we've got, that we're starting to pick up some? They're not even little niggles by the sounds of it. Some of this, are for several weeks at a time here now, and several months in Harvey's case. Are you getting concerned at all by that?
No, not really. There's quite a few teams which have got a good number of players out. Man United got loads of players injured. Chelsea are the same. In Burnley, I mean, to give you an idea, the squad that they've got, they're missing quite a few. I mean, to give you an idea, whereas I'm just looking at it here on .com, they've got Foster suspended, Ekdal, Goodmanson, Obafemi, Benson, Chernanov are all on the injury list for Burnley. So we're not the only team who've got a bit of a mini injury crisis. There are other ones out there. And it is just all part and parcel of football, unfortunately. And the only one which is considered long-term right now is Bonds. So until Eddie comes out and says how long he expects Botman to be out, and even if it is just a case of Wilson is purely just being rested for the PSG game on midweek, I think that's what it could be, because they said many times they've got to manage his games to the minute effectively, or else he picks up an injury. He's never out for just a game or two. It's always a long-term injury, tends to be for Wilson. Yeah. Daniel's got a prediction there for him. Gordon, Isak, and Lascelles from a corner. I'll take that, no bother.
As a 3-0, I'll take it, Daniel. Yeah, I wouldn't. To be honest, I don't really care who scores. I don't care how it scores. I don't care if it bounces off someone's balls and goes in. Bounces off someone's dick and goes in. I don't really care. I just want us to win. Just thinking about these extra games that we've got here with the addition of Champions League. PSG coming up next week. Would you rotate again in the same way that we rotated in the last game that we played against AC Milan? City? Do you think we're going to see a few? And City? Yeah, we did rotate against City as well. That's actually the one I was thinking of. Do you think we'll see the same sort of thing, given that it's at home against, French champions? Everybody's going to be wanting to play this game, of course. Do you think we'll see a bunch of changes for that one next week?
I think we might see Joe Linton come back into the starting lineup. He played pretty much the full 90 minutes, I think, against City. His first game in a few. So I think he'll come back with just a bit of muscle in midfield. Maybe Anderson will drop to the bench on that one, or even Tonali comes back into the fray because he has Champions League experience. He knows all about these big games. So I think there will be one or two players come back in again. If Wilson's fit, he'll start that one, and Isak will drop to the bench. Again, Isak, he played a big chunk of the Man City game. Chances are he's going to play a big chunk of this game. So I reckon he'll be rested come the PSG game if Wilson is fit. If not, then Big Dog will start.
I mean, this isn't a preview of that game by any stretch, but early thoughts on score for that one, maybe against PSG. It's like, we could get absolutely murdered. You got Mbappe and everything, who's absolutely phenomenal players against possibly Jamal Lascelles.
I don't know.
I don't know what I think about that.
Again, just a little bit touch on this one. If we beat PSG, we're top of the group. How mad does that sound?
Yeah, it's not bad, is it? Hey, I mean, everyone was expecting us to do pretty bad, and I mean, we've only played one game, obviously, but that draw in Milan seemed like all right after the dust settled. It kind of turned out to be an all right result. I think it was it wasn't West Ham. Was it West Ham? No, it was Villa and Brighton. They both lost in their European games,
they did.
Didn't it? And we're kind of getting a draw out of a very good AC Milan team. A win today for Newcastle, so we're in we're in 8th with 9 points. We'll go up to we're only going to go up one spot, aren't we? Up to 7th, possibly. Depends on the rest of the fixtures, obviously. It'll be interesting to see where this table sits at the end. The coverage has begun. Craig, I don't know if you've got it on yet.
I'll get it on now.
It's dull and grey in Newcastle. Water in the pitch, lots of fans in the ground. There's a young lad with his flag waving it around a bit. It's getting close time to kick off. We've got 7 minutes left. I'm trying to think of what else we can discuss, and there's 9 minutes left to go. We've talked about PSG, so let's do a score prediction for PSG. I don't think you actually gave me a score, did you?
I'm gonna go 2-1. Aye, 2-1 for PSG. There we go. But
you're predicting a defeat? Oh man,
win.
2-1 win.
2-1
right
win.
Get in.
But getting back into this game here, if Burnley do pack the midfield, which their formation does look like, because BBC Sport have got them going as a 4-2-3-1 formation, so that effectively puts their 5 in midfield against our 3 in midfield. Yes, our 2 attacking wide forwards, they can drop back into midfield if needed to make it a 5-on-5 effectively. And you'd think the pace that we've got on the wings with Gordon and Miggy, we should be able to cause them problems, even if they do have to drop back to make up the numbers. But just like we've seen against Sheffield United, they hide 5 in midfield. Wasn't very effective for them at all, as we literally opened them up like a can of peas on a hot day. It was too easy. And hopefully this can be another example of the same of how far the team has come against ones that try to sit back and soak up some pressure.
Looks like the lads are getting ready in the tunnel to walk out. There, I think Sheffield had a 3 at the back initially, if I'm not mistaken. Did they have a 3 at the back and then they changed it to 4 back and then it was 5 in the middle and 1 up top or something? And it just didn't seem to make any difference whatsoever. We just kind of kept on. We basically just whatever the hell we wanted. It was nuts. It's been a long time since I've seen Newcastle have a free run of the ground like that, Be very excited to see that, and especially away from home as well, don't forget.
This is Pope's first game against Burnley since leaving the club, obviously. So it'll be interesting to see what any kind of reception he gets from the Burnley fans. Obviously, they'll be up in the gods, up in the nosebleed seats, so you might not even hear it at all. But you think you get a decent reception. He didn't exactly leave on bad terms or anything. He left when they got relegated, but he's an England international and he wanted to keep it that way. And you're never going to be an England international playing in the Championship, are you?
No, not usually. All right,
And
the
when a
boys are
club of
walking out.
Champions League football comes calling, you don't really say no when you've been relegated either.
Nah, I mean, every player wants to play in the big leagues, don't they? So the lads
Aye.
are in the tunnel right now. Dubravka making a mysterious return to the squad when he was nowhere to be seen against City. Because I actually thought that Dubravka would play in that game against City, and yet he wasn't even in the squad at all. It was Karius on the bench. Did you hear anything about that one?
I did it. Yeah, you just had him and Burn were ill apparently. So
Just ill.
explain that one.
Burnley
So,
Football Club fan for life new account. That's it's a catchy name, that one. Sorry, I'm a
it
Burnley
is.
fan. Don't apologise, mate. Everyone's got to support a team. I can't find another stream to watch. So can anyone translate? I don't understand anyone from Newcastle except Ant and Dick. I
Well,
didn't
do
think
you
my
want to be
accent was
Ant and
that.
I'll be Dick?
Which one's the bald one? You can be the bald one.
That's Ant. I've got the massive forehead for it now, so you know.
You got a funny shaped head. You can be Ant. I'll be
There we
Dick.
go.
Oh, Spooky Man! All right, the teams.
Blind.
The teams are now in the tunnel. Looks like the officials are going to walk everyone out right now. Here we go.
Let us know your
Newcastle.
predictions in the comments as well for everyone that's watching on the chat. It'd be interesting to see. And let us know where you're watching this broadcast from around the world. We're obviously on the east coast of Australia, so let us know where you are. Be keen to know where everyone's representing.
Yeah, Newcastle in the black and white stripes, black shorts, and it's just changed before I had a chance to see what socks they've got. And white socks. Burnley in the usual claret and blue top. Claret shorts, I believe. Again, the cameraman will not stick to these teams. And claret socks. I probably should be saying maroon. Should be saying maroon. Because Australians apparently cannot say maroon. Little factoid for you there.
Oh, I've got a prediction in there, the chat from Mark Thompson. 4-1 home win, Isak with a double. Yep, we'll gladly take that and knee bother, mate.
I'll have that every single day of the week, Mark. Burnley actually have their blue socks on, just as a correction there, if anybody cares. So Optus are predicting a 4-3-3. Jesus, that was a surprise, eh? What do we ever not a 4-3-3? It's almost a full English back line there, actually. Trips, Lascelles, Byrne, Tony Shaw. Then you've got Longy, Bruno, and Anderson. The Scottish flag, which is always annoying.
Weird.
Has he chosen Scotland yet? There's still been. Miggy, Isaac, and Gordon. 4-3-3. Let's see how they say Burnley.
And we've got Daniel watching down in Sydney.
Get up, you Daniel. Trafford, Roberts, Al-Dakataki.
Now that's interesting because they've got them as a 4-3-3 as well, where BBC had them again as a 4-2-3-1. So it'll be interesting to see how they do line up.
Maybe initially they're going to try and just nullify man-to-man and then change things depending on how it goes.
You're welcome, mate. We didn't mind knocking City out of the cup. That's for sure.
Yeah. Mate, we're all surprised at that one, I think. I don't think Pep gave much of a crap about that competition, to be honest with you. No. He couldn't give two monkeys. Afterwards, he's like, yeah, congrats. Congrats to all the teams that left in it. Don't care.
Yeah.
I've got to get me bus journey to Manchester like that's the worst thing in the world.
I can guarantee you wouldn't get in the mega bus with it. £1.50 return to Manchester.
I mean, it's not ideal, obviously. Here comes company.
You can have the mega bus still, I think.
Trademark suit, jacket, and cap.
Tell you what, for that Burnley fan who's watching, what's your prediction for this game? And do you think it could be a whitewash, or you reckon you could potentially nick something? Let us know in the comments.
We've got to approach this like we do every other single game. We can't just assume that because we've destroyed Sheffield that we're going to have anything like that against Burnley. We've got to take this super seriously.
Well, there was times last season where we would beat teams 4-0, 5-1, or whatever. Then we'll go draw 0-0 and have a really boring game where we don't really create much because the other team just sit back and padlocks that back door and bolts it shut, So we have to be on our guard. We can't take anything for granted, like you said. But I do think if we get the first goal, then obviously Burnley have to play out, and then that will only play into our advantage.
Yeah. Well, looks like Burnley have won the toss to kick off. They're kicking off down the pitch, which is a bit of a strange choice if that's the case. So Newcastle playing up the field towards the Leazes end. Burnley to get us underway. Ball's not even in the centre of the bloody pitch, man. Yeah, here we are. We're underway at last. Can you hear any of this background, Craigie?
Nah.
Oh.
Harry Chalmers, how you doing? One of my oldest mates from school.
Chalmers.
He's cut that tree down at Sycamore Gap. Not the bush from here, Market.
Oh, let's not get into that. Jesus Christ. Les Hills with an early touch down the wing there towards Isaac. And so far, Burnley maintaining possession in the first few seconds. Forgot to do the scorecard. And here come Burnley into the box. It's cut right across. It's, oh my word. Burnley with an early heart attack for Newcastle there. Found their way into the box on the right-hand side, squared it across the box. I think it must have been well defended in the end, unless he was offside or something. So Dan Burn struggling to keep up with this, lad. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one, Craig.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, the ball just ran out. There was a bit of defending by Newcastle there, and the ball just went straight past the man. Early heart attack, early something to watch there at the back for Dan Burn. He isn't the fastest, as we all know. But Newcastle on the ball now in their own half. Looking to move down the right.
Does got to show, though, that Burnley aren't just yet to sit back and become whipping boys, which is a good thing for us.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Never expect them to, though.
And it's not company style of play. It just isn't to sit back. So hopefully that is the case and we have an entertaining game.
Yeah. So here comes Newcastle down the right with Miggy on the ball, and it's kicked out for a corner, I believe. In the first couple of minutes, has it gone for a corner or has it gone for a throw? Looks like it's gone for a throw. Just inside the 18-yard box area, down the right-hand side. Eddie in talks with Mad Dog already. Trying to figure out what to do. Early days. Nothing to worry about just yet. And the ball's made its way down the right again. Trips on the ball. Small inside the line there to Bruno, who tried to let it go through, but it was defended. And it's eventually gone up for a goal kick to Burnley.
So all of our games so far in the Prem have been really hard, man. City won the treble. Aston Villa were in Europe, same with you guys, and Tottenham are just hard with Son anyway. You know,
well,
there are easy games in the Premier League, but some are just that little bit more difficult than others, you know?
I mean, we had the hardest start of all, didn't we?
Aye.
We had the hardest start of all, of course, but yeah, other teams have had a pretty difficult start to life as well. Let's just hope Burnley don't end up getting another man sent off. So far, at the moment, it's down Burnley's left in their own half. Newcastle struggling to get a little bit of possession back here, which they do eventually. It's in their own half now in the centre circle. And whoops, oh Christ, Dan Burn has just slipped. He's let his man in down the right-hand side. It's cut to squared. It's kicked. It's well saved by Pope. It's still to Burnley, and they spoon it out.
Jesus Christ, we're living dangerously already, almost.
Well, oh my. That was the worst time slip. That was a Steven Gerrard style slip, wasn't it, in the Champions League?
It was, aye.
Newcastle doing well to get away with that one. The man, he squares it to his man in the middle, and he's just in on goal. He's got someone on his shoulder, but he's got a free kick at goal there. And Nick Pope does well to save with his leg. And eventually they spoon it out for a goal kick. That's 2 heart attacks in the space of 4 minutes, Craigie. Are we seeing how Burnley are going to go on this game?
We are. You know, it was pure coincidence that Dan Burn made that little slip there. I know you mentioned that the water on the pitch before the game, so maybe they've done a bit too much, you know. So
possibly that was exactly where that was exactly where the Jets were. The hard tackle from Cullen in the middle of the box there on, I think, Trippier. No, it was Longstaff, but he's on his feet already. Longstaff goes down pretty
Welcome
easy.
to the chat, Dex.
Sexy Dixie. Yeah,
But
so
we
I
should be
wonder.
1-0 down, yeah?
Should be 2-0 down. I wonder if they're targeting Dan Burn because he's not the fastest, and if you get behind him, you're pretty much in on goal, especially with our high line. If we're going to be pressing all day,
it's not the first time Burn's been targeted. So we know we've got a pace and cover with Gordon there.
Yeah.
They may need to track
Gordon's
a bit
in,
more
keep
than
it
what
here.
he first initially thought.
So Burnley doing well here at the minute, just playing the ball around themselves at the back. Newcastle chasing, trying to get a hold of it. Looking a little bit slow at the minute. Newcastle a little bit lethargic, maybe. Obviously, we've played a lot of games. What was it? 3 games last week or something? Or was this the 3rd game of the week? I'm not sure. But sooner or later, all these extra games are going to start.
Yeah.
Getting felt in the legs. Burnley gets back underway with a throw-in on the halfway line, and Newcastle mop it up at the back, and it's with Dan Burn. Please don't fall over again. He doesn't. Longer to Bruno. Bruno almost got caught out trying to square back to Nick Pope, but it gets through in the end. So we looks like we've got Burnley coming at us like we want the Craig. At least for now. I think their intensity levels are a little bit higher than us right now. So we're going to be. There's an example of Burnley closing down and Lascelles just lobs it out for a cheap throw in to Burnley. I think Burnley look quite sharp here. They look a little bit sharper than us right now.
Yeah, fair play to them. They certainly had more of the ball than us so far. We do look very jaded.
Yeah.
Another loose ball from Dan Burn there.
Yeah.
Just
loose ball from
an aimless punt up from defence.
Newcastle are struggling to get a hold of the ball here. Burnley are doing very well from the left, moving into the right. Over to their left. Sorry, from their right to the left. Inside the box. Setting themselves up inside the box again, down the right, sorry. It's well defended by the Cells, but the ball is still with Burnley, who recycle the ball nice in Newcastle's defensive third. Down their left, our right. And they just give the ball straight back to Nick Pope in the end. But they're looking pretty promising right now, Burnley. I think my prediction of 4-0 is looking a little bit dicey at this point. There could be 2 goals up already. I think Dan Burn needs to win.
Good question from Benya. What side centre back is Lascelles playing? You reckon he's playing on the right side and Shaw's on the left? It looks that way, doesn't it?
Looks that way, yeah.
All right. Yeah, Benzo looks as though harsh tackle on Gordon there.
Yeah.
Looks as though Lascelles is on the left Lascelles on the right and Shaw on the left.
Yeah, an easy decision for the referee there. Anthony Gordon.
Gordon being brought down just outside Newcastle's area, wins a free kick. Didn't look too bad in the end.
Now, mate, we're not allowed to broadcast the game live on YouTube. We will get shut down big time for that one. Too many rules and regulations against that.
I wish we could.
Aye.
Ball up the line. Hopeful ball doesn't make it to Miggy. Unfortunately, it's all the way back to Burnley. How young's that kid in goal? Bloody hell, it looks like he's 14 or something.
Apparently he's not very good either.
Well, we haven't exactly tested him so far in the first 9 minutes. We haven't done much at all so far with the ball. Credit to Burnley. And there it goes. Bit of pressure from Newcastle, and this young lad just goes and hoofs it straight off for a throw into Newcastle in... Wait a minute, did it take a touch? No, I must have took a touch. It's Burnley's throw. Didn't see that touch myself. I'll get you to summarise in about a minute's time, Craigie. Let's just see what Burnley do with this. Taking there forever to take this throw in. Come on, mate. Jesus. There it goes eventually. Burnley managed to wiggle away from tackle in the middle there and then just get the ball straight back to Newcastle again. I think Burnley need to just keep it doing what they're doing here and force Newcastle into some errors. Looks like we've got a few errors in this today. And Lascelles on the ball just outside the halfway line. Burnley look like they've got 5 in the middle. They really do. Newcastle struggling to make forward passes here. They just went and kicked the ball straight out on the right side. 10 minutes in, Craigie, give us a quick summary of the first 10.
Tough. Didn't expect this type of intensity from Burnley. I thought they may attack, but not at pace, if that makes any sense. Slow, patient build-up. But now they've got pace. They've got Dan Burn rattled a little bit earlier on. He had that slip, which let them in. Burnley, when opening 10 minutes, should be a goal or two, like we said just before. We haven't even troubled their keeper yet.
No, and we're actually struggling to maintain possession now. We're passing is off. We're just giving the ball. There's too many turnovers. I mean, Burnley are giving a few turnovers themselves, mind you, but could end up being one of those horrible scrappy guys. Another turnover from Burnley. Mickey plays in. Isaac's in front of the goal. The kicks. It's just stopped by the keeper, but he doesn't actually manage to hold onto it. So that's interesting. If he's going to be kind of flappy hands, it'll be interesting to get a few more shots on target. See what he does with it. Might give us an impetus to follow in on those shots as well. See if we can get a cheap spill.
Yeah, first clear-cut chance for us.
Yeah, it was dead easy as well. Bruno just picks up the ball in the middle, kind of pastes it right through the middle to Isaac, right through the middle of defence, through the midfield, turns and shoots. So first shot from Newcastle, first sight of goal. Burnley in possession again in their own half. And it's all the way back to the keeper.
Oh, and Newcastle, man, get the
Newcastle loading up the box a little bit here, and Newcastle forced the keeper to give it straight back to us. And Lascelles has given the ball straight back to Burnley. And Dan Burn has bought a free kick there, which is just as bloody well because they were in on goal yet again.
Certainly no signs of his knock there, Ben, that's for sure. There was a rumour to keep him out of this game.
Jeez, imagine if Wilson and Isaac had a knock.
Oh, that would be unbearable.
He's going down the left, just on the halfway line. We've got Miggy on the wing, who's waiting for it, and he receives it from Lungy. No, sorry, that's Trippier. Trippier to Lungy to Miggy, back to Trippier, still on the halfway line, trying to find space. Bruno gives the ball away too cheaply. And Burnley get a free kick, I believe. And that just came from a sloppy, lazy pass from Bruno. Whilst Newcastle in control of the ball, trying to make some triangles, trying to make a bit of space, and give the ball away cheaply and end up giving away a free kick. It didn't even look like a free kick either.
Don't think so either.
Dan Burn does well to defend the forward ball there. It's going for a throw in, deep in Burnley's half.
That's how Burnley are getting that extra number forward in midfield.
Taking forever with a throw in again.
We're going to have another 20 minutes of first time added on time here. I hate that new rule. Stupid up.
And here comes the ball. He goes, Miggy's in on ball. He kicks it in. Whoa! Welcome back, Miggy. That's Miggy from last season. What an absolute rocket! Outside the area, he finds a little bit of space. It's a cheap turnover from Burnley, and he launches an unstoppable in top corner. Craigie, what a goal!
Screamer and a half, that.
Against the run of play, that was as well.
Superb goal.
Would you say that was against the run of play?
Definitely. But to quote Daniel, what a fucking goal.
So Burnley have the ball here, and the guy just falls asleep on it. Trippier puts a boot in, wins the ball back. Oh, what a goal. He's inside
that is
the
sensational.
D. He's inside the D. He's moving from the right to the left. He feigns once. He's on the edge of the D. Oh, it's a sensational goal. Could the keeper have done any better there, do you think?
Nah. I mean, we've got the Burnley fan on there saying that the keeper's awful. To me, that's unstoppable.
Oh, I don't know, mind. He's there or thereabouts. What an absolute rocket. Get a look on this one, the match of the day. It's a beauty.
I wish
Top
Shearer's
bins.
dancing in his chair on that one.
Top bins from outside the area. Keeper not that far away, but the pace just takes it from him. And it's 1-0 to Newcastle. And again, against the run of play.
It was. But, we'll take it. We absolutely will take it. But I mean, think about the first opening 15, 20 minutes of the Sheffield United game, we were on par with them. We weren't dominating them. They weren't dominating us. And then we just turned the screw and away everything went, So maybe this one's going to go the same way now. I wouldn't mind another 8-0 win. Not going to happen, but you never know.
Never know. And trying to find how many scores gone.
There's Dex being as opinionated as ever. We've been shite for 30 minutes. Their keeper is shite.
Dexy on the fence, as always.
You got splinters in your arse there, don't you, Dex?
Now, this is an interesting position here as well. Free kick to Newcastle inside Burnley's half. Trippier's over the top of it. It's on the left-hand side of the pitch a little bit. He lobs it in to the back post. Newcastle get their head to it, but has it gone off for a goal kick? It's gone off for a goal kick. I think it came off the cells. Well. I mean, Dexter's not wrong. We were pretty poor for that first 14 minutes.
We were,
but sometimes, you need a goal to get you out of your slumber a little bit. Newcastle are looking like they're interested in pressing for this game now. Lovely bit of tackling from Miggy there to stop the forward motion from Burnley, and Newcastle win the ball back in their own half. There's an attempted switch of play here from right to left. A weak header from the defender for Burnley there, like had Gordon almost in on goal. But Burnley have done well to win it back, and that's a free kick to Burnley.
Unlucky.
I think it was Anderson, wasn't it? Went in with a bit of a...
It was I.
Bit of a heavy one. Oh, he's getting the yellow card as well.
That's harsh. But saying that, though, did you see how soft the yellow card was in the Villa game?
He gets the ball, his foot goes over it a little bit, doesn't it? The ball sort of bobs behind him, even though he takes his man.
Kind of see why that was giving us a yellow.
Yeah. Bloody hell, what a goal.
I've seen worse given for yellow, or less given for yellow, to be honest. Okay, the first yellow card in the Villa game was pitiful for that shoulder challenge. Just getting soft now.
They're talking about Gordon got a yellow there. That can't be right, can it?
I don't know. I thought it was Anderson. Tackle.
It was definitely Andy who did the tackle, so unless Gordon's been given lips. Because that'll be his fifth, that means he'll be banned for the next game, if that's the case.
Aye.
Burnley playing with fire here at the back. Went to the keeper and then spread it out to the wide, and now it's gone out for a throw into Newcastle. And deep in Burnley's defensive third here, down our left, their right. And as the commentator says, Newcastle are well into this game now. Finally walking up. And Burn with the throw. A bit of a tussle there with Anderson, but he's get the ball. He's into the box. He goes down like a sack of crap. Never a million years a penalty. And Burnley were almost going to break away with that down the left, down our left there, right. But Dan Burn managed to stop the action, and Burnley still have it down their left now.
There's one for you, Lee. Daniel's got a little bit of a complaint about your timer.
I do apologise. I couldn't find a bloody app that did a timer going the other way. So this is the only one I could find that didn't look terrible. It is annoying, I agree. And that's spilled to Newcastle. Here comes Gordon. He's in the area. He's down to the byline. He's tried to cut it back and just don't try to do a little bit too much there, I think. And here comes Longy to add a bit of press. Well done, Longstaff. He
nice one.
Keeps the ball in their own area. And as he won a throw in as well, that definitely looked like it came off Longstaff. It is a throw to Newcastle. Dan Burn, deep in Burnley's half. And finally gets underway again. And Newcastle pass it all the way back to Pope in a fairly advanced position. A bit annoying, never mind. Here we go, build again. Here's Miggy with a cute little turn in Newcastle's half. Credit to Burnley, they're still pressing pretty hard on us. Long ball, hoping to beat the defence, doesn't quite, but Newcastle have numbers up here. Ball's a lovely flick from Isaac. Finds Longy, who crosses it, and dear me, I thought that was going to take a touch on goal there. It definitely took a touch of some sort, but Newcastle have robbed a corner. It's going to be a goal kick. Burnley have to be careful with these turnovers. I don't know how that hasn't gone for a corner, mind you. Dear, oh dear.
Let's see.
Ando plays to Isaac. He does a beautiful back kick, like back heel kick thing. Longy runs on it, tries to kick towards goal. It's clearly came off the defender, and yet it goes out for a goal kick.
Yeah, that took a deflection off the player's cough, I think it was.
Yeah. Well, otherwise that shot was going in on goal, wasn't it? So
yeah.
Never mind, Newcastle have it back anyway in their own half. Deep in their own half. Dan Burns just giving an easy ball away again. We need to look after the ball a lot better than we are, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I think Gordon's
just
looking a little bit jaded.
There. We actually did pack 5 in midfield.
Yeah, we did. We did that against City, I think. When we were out of possession, we went into a 4-5-1. And it looks like I might be doing the same sort of thing today. That's well won back by Anderson. Well done. He's came all the way back from Burnley's half to win the ball on the line for Newcastle, and we have the ball now in our own defensive third. Trippier on the right hand side. The Cells with a lazy lob. For God's sake. Burnley almost kick it out for a throw, but they don't. You see, just cheap turnovers like that, that's what drives me up the bloody wall.
Mm-hmm.
And Lascelles hasn't been in this team much, but you have to maintain possession. You have to build carefully. You can't just lob it into space and expect something to come from it, you know?
That's why Howe obviously prefers 2 ball-playing centre-backs. So they can build up from the back, they can build up patiently, and if Shaw needs to, we can hit one of those cross-field passes, which were quite successful last season, to break through the defence if needed. But, the Cells, he's never going to be first-choice defender if both Botman and Shaw are fit. Never.
Yeah, and as you saw there, Burnley just took the opportunity to slow the game down. The keeper just kept the ball for a fair while. Eventually lobbed it all the way back to Nick Pope. Newcastle on the ball now with Anderson. We have an overload, 2 players on the right-hand side there, if we can find them. It's crossed, switch is not quite good enough. But Trippier wins a free kick, looked like a cheap one. Ramsey pulling them back, I think, as he was trying to turn down the right-hand side. So this is another interesting position for Trippier's free kick special. That didn't
not too dissimilar to where Botman's for the position for Botman's goal last week.
Looked like a soft one though, didn't it?
It did.
So this is a very tip of the defensive third really for Newcastle on the right-hand side. So ideal position for Trippier to whip in a beauty. Let's see what we can do with this on 24 minutes. It's gone into the area. It's a beautiful ball. It's almost felt a Dan Burn of all people, but he was well shepherded and Burnley get straight back under play. Down our left, but Newcastle have 3 men on this bloke to stop him from going forward. He's looking to threat this guy. Who is it? Any idea who that Burnley player is down the right-hand side?
No idea, unfortunately. If the Burnley fan could let me know, that'd be great. But got to agree with you on that one, Ben. Anderson does look like he could be a top draw player. He really does. Needs game time, obviously, to develop. And he's getting that, where he didn't really get a rub of that last season. So hopefully he can be the player we all know he can.
Bruno losing the ball a little bit there, complaining that he was fouled by a Burnley player, but referee not interested. Burnley have the ball back in their own half. So all the way back to the keeper.
We've got confirmation. Gordon will miss the West Ham game, so it must have been Gordon that got booked, not Anderson.
He must have
been for dissenting.
Yeah. That's such a stupid. I mean,
it is.
You get that from Gordon, aren't you? Because he's that kind of character and he's young and he's a bit daft. But Newcastle thought they had a corner there, and again it's gone for a goal kick. What are the officials doing here? Trippier's pretty unhappy about that decision. Yeah, Anderson, first of all, he looks absolutely tremendous at times. Like he looks like he's going to be a star if he gets the time, as you say.
Yeah.
Burnley taking forever and a day to get the ball underway again, which they do eventually. I was going to say there, we haven't seen much from Isaac just yet, have we?
No, he had that early chance, within the first 10 minutes. And he had that nice little flick before, but not as busy as we would like him to be, that's for sure.
Yeah, lovely bit of play from Gordon there to track back and win the ball and then start play. Newcastle win a penalty win a free kick just over the halfway line down the right hand side. It looks like they're starting to get a bit annoyed with some of these challenges from Burnley.
Yeah,
it's another drag back. That one's a bit more obvious than the other ones. Burnley using all the dark arts, Craig. All the dark arts. Like as if it's a bad thing. Here comes Ando in a tight spot, and he almost got away with it. But Newcastle have it just in their own half, and moving from right to left, or left to right rather. 1-0, 26.5 minutes gone. Starting to settle into this game a bit, Craig, you think? After that, early heart attacks.
We're definitely getting a bit more possession, bit more forward thinking, bit more pace on the ball. We just seem to be taking control, which is good to see. But opening 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, it was pretty much all Burnley.
That's a beautiful ball through to Isaac. He's in on goal here. And his touch is heavy. Can he do it again? Oh!
No.
The ball...
Unlucky.
The ball bobs up from the keeper, and he has to kind of track back a little bit to get back on the ball, and he sort of, in his haste, he tries to hook it into the goal, I think, a little bit behind him, and it just agonizingly goes wide. Beautiful ball through to him in the first place, mind you. Yeah, he's trying to hook it with his
maybe
left.
A little too heavy.
Yeah. Keeper did well.
Unlucky, that big dog.
Give the keeper some credit. He did well there, coming out to meet Isaac. I want to see that ball through, though, because that was a beautiful ball. And we've just been saying we haven't seen much from Isaac. Well, there's a reminder of just what you can do, giving half a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Burnley keep it with the ball, launches it long, easily defended. Oh, Christ, I was going to say easily defended by Dan Burn, but he bloody completely misses it. Almost lets in the Burnley player, the real danger for Burnley. But Newcastle managed to get under control. A beautiful switch from left to right. Gets Trippier on his way. His second touch is very heavy and is easily defended against.
That's a shame.
That's a shame, yeah. But we're keeping men up here. We're trying to press the issue here. We've got 5 or 6 in defensive half, in Burnley's defensive half. Newcastle do win it back. Lovely through ball to Bruno. And then there's another foul, this time from Amdoumi on Miggy. He's getting a yellow card for that one. It's another very, very promising position for Trippier to whip in across. So Miggy, I think his man just puts his leg across him, doesn't he? He does. He's actually taking a couple of little nibbles there. One of those gives you a bit of a corky, on your leg with a knee in the back of the leg type tackle.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a bit sore, but here's Tripp. So this is halfway through the half. Slightly to the right of centre.
Yeah, it's not again. Good swing, bit of pace.
Oh, he's done a very clever chip into. It's a very clever chip down the right, to Isaac, and the ball just bounced off his face. How he managed to do that? That was Joe Linton. I'd be like, that's Joe Linton though. That was Isaac. What on earth happened there? It was like he was waiting for it. That was obviously a training ground move. The ball comes to him and he just goes smack right off his face. That was weird. Coming up to the half-hour mark, Craigie, your assessment so far, please.
After the first 10-15 minutes, we've gained control, limited Burnley to pretty much not much over the halfway line. And we scored an absolute screamer of a goal from Miggy, who hopefully is trying to stage his own goal of the month competition again.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Burnley have given the ball away to Newcastle on the halfway line, and Newcastle played safe back to Pope. Popey. And we build again from the back. I still feel like there's a game in here for Burnley, you know. I don't think this game's gone from them at all yet. If they get a break right, because there is space around, because we're pushing so far up, there's space around us and behind us.
Yeah.
If they get lucky with a break and get in on goal, you can see them getting a goal, can't you?
Well,
especially if it's down
the last
Burnley.
5 minutes, 68% possession to us in the last 5 minutes, but we haven't done that much with it. Yeah, it 1-0. The opposing team, the losing team, has always got a chance, regardless.
Burnley have a man.
We know that all due to friggin' Bruce Stivmore.
Burnley have a man down here off the pitch, and the referee's blown the whistle to stop the game. What the hell's going on? It's Cullen. It was under a heavy tackle from Ando, I think, as Newcastle were winning the throw-in. He's off the pitch. Why the hell has the referee stopped the game? What on earth is he doing?
Gordon needs to calm down. He's getting a little bit too excited as well.
He's already on the yellow.
Mm-hmm.
But that's bizarre refereeing. The bloke's off the pitch. You must have assumed it was a head injury or something. That's all I can imagine. But he's off the pitch anyway. So what's it about? Yeah. He's right in front of the bloody medics.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a strange thing to do there. Newcastle pressing high up the pitch here. Burnley is struggling to get out their own defensive third. And that's beautifully won back from Longstaff, who blammoed it to was it Ando, who couldn't quite get it under control, and Burnley keeper gets it a little bit more finesse on that pass there, and we were in a good position. Burnley are really taking the piss with these, with the amount of time they're taking to get the ball back in play.
I don't know why teams do that now, because it only gets added on. I hate the rule. I despise the rule.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it.
It makes absolutely no sense for teams to time waste now.
I guess the only assumption is that you still don't get all of the time that you waste back on. Maybe. Burnley playing with fire here at the back. My words, they had 3 men around them, and they've managed to wiggle it out of the defensive box, and that's gone into a heavy tackle there to Longy, but no, he's all right. No, it was Ando, actually. Colioso. That's the guy who was very dangerous down there, right-hand side. Like, he's number 30. He's looking very lively.
Yeah. He's had his Lucozade Sport this morning, Dex. 2 bottles.
Yeah, he proper blammoed that to Ando, didn't he? He didn't have to either. Ando was in a fair amount of space. There wasn't anybody closing him down, really. He just had to be a little bit more controlled, you know. Newcastle with the ball at the back. It's Pope, actually. Look at Burnley. They're still pushing. Burnley are pressing really high up the pitch here. And Newcastle inevitably do a turnover, but Burnley just give it straight back to us, to Burn, to Bruno. He's going to go for it. No, he's not. He was almost winding up a Hollywood pass, but he didn't do it. Patient build-up from Newcastle on this occasion. Ball down the line. Here it is. It's Lungy. He's in the right-hand side. He's in the channel. He's got 2 men to pick out. It's going to go to the far post. It's off the line. Oh, Ando with a flying header. It somehow stops on the line. Keeper was beaten. It somehow doesn't have the power to get through. Newcastle still in the box with it. Dink to the far post. Trippier falls over, trying to meet it. What was that? And Burnley finally get it away.
Comedy.
Oh my word.
Oh,
My word. Isaac plays a beautiful ball down the line to Longy, who's running into space. There's 3 defenders, 2 Newcastle attackers. He sees Longy Ando at the back. Comes in for a beautiful flying header, but the keeper managed to get something on it, and it is just kept out at the end. Good save from the keeper, in fairness. And then Newcastle just go and give the ball straight back. Goal kick.
perfectly weighted ball though from Longstaff. Normally, when players have got too much time on their hands, they absolutely cock it up. But couldn't fault a little chip from Longstaff there. It was perfect.
Well, Longy had all the time in the world to pick his man. And Burnley were very, very narrow. There was 3 of them coming back, but they were all very narrow. So that left a space for Ando to run in on, and he's so unlucky. There was a good keeper. It was a good save from the keeper. You have to give him credit for that.
Yeah, it was.
And a beautiful flying header attempt from Ando as well. It was nice to see him score. I think you said that at the top, didn't you?
I did.
And goes off for a throw into Burnley in their own half. 10 minutes to go till half time, plus God knows how much extra.
Miggy only scores worldies, mate. That's all he's good at. He doesn't do tap-ins unless it's with his dick.
That was a beautiful goal, man. And Burnley just throw the ball straight back to the cells, through the middle to Bruno, who loses it. And Burnley regain possession.
Do you think there's anything more Anderson could have done with that header? Do you think it was a good save from the keeper?
It was a good save from the keeper. It's one of those where usually Andrews just want a free kick to Newcastle on the left here. Usually you want to head those into the ground. If you had headed that into the ground and it goes up, it'll go over the keeper's hand most of the time. Which is why you do it to kind of confuse him so he doesn't know where it's going.
Yeah.
But maybe if you had got a little bit more side head on it, it might have went to the side of the keeper a bit more. But you can't take it away from the keeper. It was a lovely save.
Yeah.
Here's Trippier on the left hand side, inside the Burnley half. Plays a simple one down the line to Gordon. Gordon's going to take on his man a little bit. Dinks it into the box. It's defended. Gordon wins it back just about. Yeah. Trippier is still down the left here. Dan Burn. Nice ball to Trips, who whips it into the box again. There's a man on the back post here. It's defended nicely, but it falls to Newcastle. Miggy tries to cross. I think that was a cross. Newcastle still regaining possession, but then give it away cheaply. And then Lascelles gives away a cheap free kick to stop Burnley from progressing. Didn't get a yellow card, thankfully. And Burnley are trying very hard to play out the back here.
Which could be very dangerous. Good tackle.
Yep. Some good tackles here. It's fallen to Miggy on the wing. Goes past his man, whips it to the back, and the keeper snuffs that out. Yeah. I don't know. I think sometimes Burnley just need to get it up the pitch. A lot of this stuff they're inviting on themselves, I mean, they're doing it again here. Trying to play it around and through the pass, which they've done all right on this occasion. People are slipping all over the place here. And here comes Roberts. Dan Burn doing an able job of defending against his man. Oh, and then we lose the ball, and Burnley in a promising position here. Down on the right-hand side, edge of the box, squares it. Dinks it over to the top to the striker, who is well defended by Trips, who goes down on his honkers. I don't think that was blown up or anything, was it?
What have you made of Bruno's performance so far in the opening first off?
He's grown into the game, I think. He was a little bit lackluster to start with. I think most of the team have taken a little while to get going here. I think he's starting to pick out the odd nice pass. I haven't seen a huge amount of him, though, in fairness. Most of the play seems to be going down the wings rather than through the middle. More to come from him, I think. Look at this. Away referee. The ball comes over the top to Isaac. His shirt is getting yanked off his back. He's still on the ball, edge of the box here. And the whistle's blown for something.
He's pulled the play back now, has to. But we have the ball.
What the hell is this bloody referee doing? He's on the edge of the box with the ball and he stops the play to bring it back to the point when Isaac's shirt was getting pulled off. What the hell is going on with this bloody referee?
That makes zero sense, that like.
It's obviously a foul, but like you let the... Is he thinking there's no advantage? We're right outside the bloody box, man.
It's as night as day, clear as a foul, but let the advantage play, and if there is no advantage, then call it back. But we still had the ball in possession on the edge of the box. Yeah. So we clearly still had the advantage. I didn't get that.
Who the hell is this ref? He's bloody useless. So we've went from being on the edge of the box and pretty much Isaac is lining up a shot to being halfway up the field now on the right-hand side with a free kick to Trippier. So cheers for that, ref. In goes the ball, and he's defended, forced to Anderson, to Bruno, who dinks it to the... he's trying to dink it down the left, but it gets cut out. And Newcastle win it back.
We've no idea either, Daniel. Not a clue on that one.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell this referee's playing out, Daniel. He's just making a mess of it. Newcastle with a man down the wing here. Miggy's in space waiting for it. And Newcastle playing with fire a little bit there. They'll have to pass it back to Pope because they were letting Burnley get a little bit too close when Miggy was in Akers down the wing. And there goes Pope with a ball over the top to find Isaac, who heads it to Miggy, who gets it to Trips, who wins a throw-in. Still in our own half here. 41 minutes gone. Dunburn to Gordon. To Bruno.
Tell you what, you're going to like some of these halftime scores coming up.
Really?
I going to know one or two right now?
No. Let's just have a look at it at halftime.
We'll wait. Some on the funny. But
cheeky people.
Rain's starting to fall on Tyneside now. That,
yeah.
if anything, is going to make the surface even more greasy. And we're seeing earlier on Dan Burn with a slip, which luckily wasn't costly, but can't imagine it's going to make the game any easier. One thing it may actually do is speed the play up, which could fall into either team's advantage because they both like to play with pace.
Oh, wow, there is some interesting scores, isn't there? Bloody hell. All right. Burnley trying to do something with the ball in Newcastle's half. They've got to throw in still. It's halfway down the half. And down the right-hand side. Looks like very much like they're targeting that side of the pitch. They're taking absolutely donkeys to get the ball back in play again. Jesus Christ, get on with it, man. Still hasn't took the throw in yet. Comes a long one. Newcastle defend it. It's launched back towards Pope. Nice easy catch for Nick Pope.
Right.
And gets his underplay really fast. He sees something he likes. It's gone up towards Gordon. It comes off a Burnley player and it goes off a Newcastle throw-in. In line with the Burnley penalty area down our left.
There is something special about managers wearing baseball caps. I don't understand why he's doing it, to be honest. I mean, he obviously never done it as a player. Just maybe fashion choice. Maybe he's got a hairstyle like Dimmy's, absolutely no hairstyle. So
he's got any hair.
Just like Dimmy.
And Burnley have done a turnover in the middle of the box, in the middle of the area here. They're running on goal. They've got a runner to his right. He's picked out the one to the left. They take a shot at goal. It's defended well. Goes off for a corner. I think it was defended by... I think Bruno gave the ball away there a little bit. If he had went to the right there, I think they were in on goal there. It's well defended by Longstaff in the end. Yeah, Michael Bridges reckons this should have been right as well. So once again, there's an example of winning the ball cheaply in the middle of the park and then just legging it straight towards goal.
Why am I not
Burnley-
surprised?
Burnley played short. And whip it in, make an angle, whip it in. Easily defended by Newcastle. Burnley maintain possession still. Anderson does well to defend that. And then Burnley launch it all the way back to their own keeper under pressure.
Good tune, that.
Under pressure. So Gordon with a lot of running there. He's rapid as Gordon, like. 45 minutes is gone. What's the extra time? 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
See, this is why they waste time on the throws. 2 minutes. That's absolutely ridiculous. And that's a straightforward ball through the middle. That was almost got Burnley in on goal there, but was defended in the end by Burn. Burnley still have it, however, on the halfway line, down the left. And they seem content with just getting to half time here by the looks of things. Playing it backwards to the keeper. And the keeper launches it out for a throw into Newcastle on the halfway line. Thank you very much.
Take the sting out of the game for the last minute and 20 seconds or so.
Yeah. It's just coming to 46 minutes. I think everyone's just looking for half time here.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell. Dan Burns has done a foul throw by the looks of things. How the hell's he managed that? Oh, he threw it into the ground, didn't he? So that's ridiculous
Did it
for a
slip in
professional
his hands?
footballer.
Does it look? Nah.
No, he's deliberately threw it to the floor. Idiot.
Why?
Oh,
That's proper schoolboy stuff, that.
professional footballer doing that. Burnley gets the throw in, taken forever again. Finally get it going. And we've got about 30 seconds left of this half. Burnley still trying to play out the back here, and they've given the ball away to Newcastle. It's Anderson. He's trying to find it. He's going to have a shot. He takes a shot. The keeper saves and spills. Nobody's following it up, unfortunately.
What's he
As
got
we
to do
said-
to score this, lad?
Well, get it somewhere that isn't the keeper. But as
Obviously.
we said with our first attempt on goal, if someone runs in after these shots, that keeper is going to spill the ball,
Aye.
and that should be time. And it is time. So that was Bruno who snuffed out the pass from the keeper. Anderson does really well to find some space and then launches it to the goal. Keeper gets down early, saves it, spills it though. Doesn't get his hands on it, spills it.
No.
Anybody following that in has got a tap in. Well, half time, Newcastle 1, Burnley 0. Craig, give us a quick summary if you can. Mate.
Tough opening 10, 15 minutes. We grew into the game. We score a worldie through Miggy, who only scores worldies. And we pretty much dominated the remaining of the half from, say, 20 minutes on, I'd say, without creating a huge amount of chances. Ref has been a bit daft at times with some decisions he's made. There was that one where the Burnley player was actually off the pitch, but still called to stop play, which is a bit weird. And then there was that pull on Isak's shirt where we still had the advantage. Very strange. I think the ref will look back on this and realise that's not his finest 45 minutes he's ever governed over. But we're lead, and that's the important thing. We're 45 minutes away from another 3 points.
And another clean sheet if it stays this way, of course, as well. Let's have a look at some of the
yeah.
scores just quickly because they are quite interesting. So obviously Villa 6-1, and we'll see that. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 2, Everton 1, Luton 2. So we said in the preamble to this that the bottom three teams really had to start picking up some points. Well, there's Luton leading Everton. I mean, God, Everton are awful at the minute. Crystal Palace are beating Man United at the minute, 1-0. Newcastle obviously leading against Burnley. West Ham beating Sheffield 2-0. Wolves beating Man City 1-0 at half-time.
That's a big one, isn't it? We've obviously knocked Man City's confidence from their midweek defeat, so, you know.
So there's some very interesting scores there. Can I find a live table? Where's that put us? So right now, live table has us still in 8th place. Crystal Palace on our heels with 0 goal difference. Man United dropped down to 10th. West Ham in 7th there. Spurs in 6th, Brighton in 5th, Aston Villa in 4th, so on and so forth. Obviously, if City remains the way that is, then they open it up for Arsenal and Liverpool to gain some ground on. Liverpool in particular can go top of the league if it stays like that. What a strange set of results.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's another 45 left to play, so anything can happen, but there's some big potential results there. There really is.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's take a quick break, Craigie. We will be back in a few minutes' time, and then we'll have a little review of that first half, and then we'll get ready for the second half.
Right. And I'm back. So, Dex, I told you on Twitter earlier on that I get flashbacks from a 5-1 scoreline. You know the reason why. This time last year, for those who weren't around for the channel, I made a stupid bet for the Brentford game after I had a few too many that if we scored 5 goals or more, I'd dye my hair like Bruno and Big Joe did. We went on to win the game 5-1, didn't we? So Muggins here had to dye his hair. I went through with it. I kept it for about a month or so. I looked absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, keep reminding me, Dex, you know, I'm going to have a PTSD from that one day. It was emotionally scarred, and every time I see blonde hair, it just comes back to me with an emotional panic. So thanks, mate.
To be fair, though, that was absolutely hilarious.
It wasn't, though. Well, for you, it's not I, obviously, but for me, I mean, Dex was actually doing the watch along with me and Jack on that game. And when that own goal went in, my heart just sank into my feet. Oh, Jesus Christ, the world's had to see this now.
It was hilarious.
No,
one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
One day with maybe with fond memories, but not right now.
So, mate, let's talk about that bloody goal. Newcastle won, Burnley 0. What a goal for Miggy. The ball finds him on the right-hand side. He cuts inside. He looks like he's going to take a shot early. He feigns a little bit. He finds a little bit more space. And then that was a bloody rocket at the top corner. Absolutely beautiful technique. Very reminiscent of a lot of the goals he scored last season, first half of last season, wasn't it?
Yeah, at least they can dye me head, Dex. I suppose that's one bonus. But it was very similar to his goal against Everton at home last season when we won 1-0. Very, very similar technique, curling effort into the top corner. And that was, I think it was the start of his goal scoring run. If he can repeat half of that this season, then happy days. But yeah, cracking goal, cracking finish. I know the Burnley fan was a bit harsh on his keeper by basically saying he should have done better. Do you think the keeper could have done much else with that one? I don't think he could have, to be honest.
Nah, I don't think he was close, mind you. He wasn't a million miles away, but nah, I think he was done by the pace and the precision of it. But that keeper, he is a bit dodgy though. You can see that he doesn't seem able to hold on to any kind of powerful shot. He seems quite happy to spill. I'm a little bit disappointed that on the 2 or 3 times we've actually been in that situation where he's spilled the ball, we've had nobody running up behind just for like an easy finish, you know?
Yeah.
But but then again, he did a pretty good save against Ando for that flying diving header, which was well saved. Could have almost went in even after that, but it was defended in the end. Yeah, I mean, I think there's more in this game. We're going to need more than just one goal, it feels like to me. There's been plenty of occasions where, because we're pressing high up the pitch, that we leave space behind. In Burnley or willing runners, you know, if they pick the ball up in a bit of space, they're going to go straight for goal. We've seen it a few times now. I mean, in the first 2 or 3 minutes or something, they did exactly that and in on goal twice. And we fortunately got away with it. And there's been lots of occasions down our left there, right, where Dan Burn is at times struggling to keep up with what's his face, who's keeping him honest. You know, I've forgotten his name again, Roberts or something. I don't know. Cullershaw. Yeah, it was Cullershaw, wasn't it? So he's their main threat, I feel, at the minute. Dan Burn likes to get forward. We know that. It's very much kind of how the team plays as well. And I just feel like if it's going to come from anywhere for Burnley, it's probably going to come down our left as they catch us out. I'm not sure whether they've got the finish in them. There was 1 or 2 occasions where they had an opportunity to have a really good shot at goal. They basically ballsed it, you know. And I'm not too sure about their strikers at the minute. So Newcastle had 52 possession to their 48, 9 shots to their 3, 5 on target for Newcastle, 1 for Burnley. Passes about the same, completed about the same. 3 fouls to their 9, 1 yellow to their 2. Is that right? 1 yellow? I thought Ando got a yellow as well as Gordon.
Just Gordon.
Hey, that's scandalous. For God's
So
sake.
he now misses the next big game.
And yeah, which is just what we need. Burnley are already on the pitch doing their warm-up routine by the looks of things. Miggy's got a pass accuracy of 67%, 26 touches, 15 total passes, and he's run 5Ks already.
Here's a question for you. Would you be tempted to take Burn off and bring Hall on? Someone who's got a bit more pace and give him a few more minutes in those legs, because he's had very little so far. He had nothing pre-season, and he played 45 against Man City and a few minutes against Sheffield United. Would that be a switch you'd be looking to make, depending on how the second half pans out?
Maybe. I mean, yeah, it'll depend on how the second half goes. If it gets comfortable, I think we need the next one and possibly even another one after that. But if we get to the point where it's comfortable for us, then yeah, absolutely, why not?
Yeah.
I imagine Dan Burn. I mean, God Almighty, can you imagine PSG running against Dan Burn? It's going to be terrifying if we play like that. Because Dan Burn hasn't got pace, and sometimes he's a little bit too far ahead, and he doesn't track back quite right, or he's leaving space behind him, and he's not able to cover that space back up again when the ball goes over the top or down the sides. PSG will have him on toast, I think. It's going to be a difficult game, that one, obviously. Burnley have been out here for about 5 minutes now. They're just in the middle of the park here, waiting for Newcastle. No sign of Newcastle just yet. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see all these kind of players. I'd like to see Tino get another run, because he was sensational.
He was.
He played absolutely brilliant. It'd be nice to see him, so that we can give Trippier a little bit of a rest. But I think while it's 1-0, it's far too precarious. I think we need to secure this first, and then we can start thinking about giving people rest. But I still see this game as wide open. It's 1-0. Here comes Newcastle now. It's 1-0, but I still see Burnley being able to make something out of this. Now, whether or not they can actually finish off the chance, I'm not exactly sure. They haven't really shown too much composure in front of goal on the few chances they've had, but they've shown a few times that they can get behind us. So I think we've got to be very careful in the second half. Don't give away a stupid early goal and give them the impetus to continue to attack us. Try and get that second goal if we can, and then we can start hopefully to play a little. I mean, someone just made a comment there that Burnley are going to have to come out and try and win this, which is absolutely right. But at some point, if we're starting to run away with it, they'll just lock up shop probably and try and keep the score down for the goal difference. It's going to be important. It'll be interesting to see. Here comes Newcastle anyway. We're playing down the pitch towards the Gallagher. Ando with it down the left here. Newcastle starting as they finished, lobbed into the middle of the box here to Isaac. Shot from King. It was a shot from Trippier into the box. Just a low flying shot to feet.
Could have been anywhere.
A defender gets his foot to it, and it's almost an own goal. It would have been. Oh my word! That man must be shitting his pants.
His arse would have been twitching like a rabbit's nose on that one.
Yeah, it was Berger. That could have easily been a perfect start to the second half for Newcastle there. But it's a corner as it is. Short one. Newcastle trying to be clever there, but doesn't come off. And then Burnley just give the ball straight back to us for a throw-in. So here comes Newcastle again. Starting with a bit more purpose this half, Craigie.
Yeah, I don't think there was any changes half-time from both sides either, so everyone's going to know each other who's on the pitch. Yeah, but we've definitely started on the front foot compared to the first half, that's for sure. I think Eddie wants a quick second goal, and then that you'd think would put the game to bed, really.
Yeah, his trips on the overlap down the wing, launches it into the middle. It's easily defended. Here comes a free for Ando. He fluffs it. But it's just bouncing around in the middle of the box there, but it's eventually kicked clear. Newcastle still have the ball, however. Down the left to Isaac, who's come to meet it. And he's went and accidentally kicked the ball out. He was trying to do step overs to make a bit of space, and he accidentally kicked it out. So it's a Burnley throw, deep in their own half, down there, right hand side. Almost a perfect start to the half there. Bit of a fluff from Ando as well.
It was fresh air shot, really.
I hope he's not going to start snapping at things, trying to make something happen. Beautiful ball to find Miggy, and he just gives the ball straight back. Dear, oh dear. And Burnley have the ball in their own half, in their own box, actually. Launch it forward to Ramsey, who can't control it, kicks it out for a throw into Newcastle. And Newcastle looking to build from the back again. I haven't seen much from Fab Shaw, actually, when I think about it.
I think he's sitting deep to help protect the cells, which kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Newcastle looking to work the ball down the left here. Burnley still full of pressing.
Gordon being fairly, I wouldn't want to say anonymous, but he's been certainly quiet compared to his previous few games, that's for sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's feeling it a little bit, but he's been doing a lot of running. Heavy tackle into Miggy there, he's all right. Throw into Newcastle. Newcastle still looking to build from the back here. But yeah, you can see Burnley still open. They're not. For example, where Trips can't get the ball up the wing. And then, jeez, I thought he got away there, but he didn't. Longy switches it to Burn on the left. He's got Golden to help him. Golden's on the ball now.
Yeah, and he's baking now.
Cuts inside. Tries to play 1-2 with Longy. Doesn't quite pay off. And Burnley get the ball back. Burnley looking to try and get out of their own defensive area here. Going to launch it. Eventually they do launch it. And Trippier is getting dragged to the ground almost. And then it goes down like Platoon to win a free.
You seem to stamp on the back of Tripp's heel or something there. Hard to see from the angle.
He wasn't happy initially with Ramsey trying to hold him on the ground, and then Trippier just buys that free. He's obviously caught the back of his heel, literally just the back of his shoe. Trips knows it's coming. He just falls down like Platoon. It was pretty weak. Ramsey, I don't think has picked up a yellow, has he?
Don't think so. Hasn't come up on the screen.
Trippier's still complaining about it. So free kick with Trippier, left-hand side, just over the halfway line. Get some instructions from Big Mad Dog by the looks of things. Longy launches it into the box. Falls to Ando. Looking for space, can't find it. Gives to Bruno. Bruno on the edge of the box. Lascelles on the edge of the box. Gold's going to go for a winder. It doesn't get past the first man. But Gordon does well to maintain possession. Nice ball inside to Ando instead of going back. Here's Bruno down the wing. And he's going to whip it in with his right foot. And he's found a beautiful ball in the middle. It's fallen free to... It's fallen free to Fab Shaw, who I think just took his eye off the ball, and it goes out for a goal kick. Good position, Craig.
It was definitely a good position. Not where you'd expect to see his centre back, like, but he was there for the taking, that's for sure.
Oh dear, that's so bad. He's tried to take it down his chest. He's tried to take it down his chest and turn into space, and then it's just hit his chest too hard and just went straight out. And he's banging himself on the head. He's like, "Yeah, you daft idiot."
I think Trips is missing the captain's armband, because that's why he's gone a bit raj. Feels a bit lightweight with it out on his arm.
I forgot to stop the bloody timer, didn't I?
There's Botman, Isak, and Gillespie in the stands.
I think Botman must have got that jacket from America trip.
Many must be mint being Mark Gillespie. You get to technically play for your hometown club, get paid a decent amount of money, and know you're never actually going to be relied on.
That's a nasty tackle on Trips.
Yes.
That's a horrendous tackle on Trips
that
for a
be-
yellow to Taylor.
I wonder if that could be looked at by VAR, because that
Everything
looked
gets
like a
looked at by
tackle from
VAR.
behind. Maybe.
Yeah,
Let's have a look at it
ooh,
again.
my word, that's a
from behind, yeah.
shocker.
Yeah,
He's gone from behind, studs into the foot.
that may
should
be
have been
looked at again.
I think that should have been a red. He hasn't even attempted to get the ball. He's just went right into the back of Trips as a reducer. How that's not a red, I don't know.
VAR are looking at it because they're yet to take the free kick.
VAR-
No, they're
VAR
happy with it.
How the hell can you look at that and go, "Oh, aye, that's a yellow"? That was danger. That was dangerous play.
Dexter's really going to be feral now.
So
With
Lascelles with
batshit
free kick
crazy.
just launched it straight all the way back to bloody Burnley keeper. Burnley again trying to play out from the back. Surrounded by Newcastle players at the minute, but they seem to be doing all right. For the moment, Isaac sleeping a little bit there. Could have anticipated that back pass, I think. Sounds like Burnley are going to bring on Rodriguez soon, Craig. And
Is it the
lovely
same
trap
J.
from Gordon.
Rodriguez that's been there for like a fortnight?
Maybe. Gordon tried to play through Isaac there, but he was being held back. At least that's what Gordon thought. Referee gives absolutely nothing for it. Newcastle ended up with the ball back with Nick Pope.
Is it the same J. Rodriguez that's been at Burnley since like day one? Or is it a different Rodriguez?
Got no idea. It's got to be the same one, surely. Lovely little back heel there from Bruno. I think, no, Miggy. Ball down from Longy, feeds in Isaac.
What a ball.
Oh. Lovely bit of defending there
Almost perfect.
from Bayer there, because Isaac was on his heels about to pick that one up, that loose ball, but ably defended. And Burnley still with the ball in their own half here. Newcastle have dropped off a little bit here.
They have.
Sticking to the high press. And Gordon's nicked the ball off Burnley here down the right, down our left, there right. He's only got Dan Burn up with them now. He's got a few other options. He's squared it through the legs, and it hasn't met anybody in the black and white. It's gone out for a throw-in down the left. Good play by Gordon there. Good anticipation of the loose ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want from your wingers. Here comes the ball in to the box eventually. In it goes. Misses Dan Burn somehow. Bruno feeds in Trips, who dinks it into the middle, and then it's headed towards goal, but it's too wide. I think Trippier could have had a shot there.
Take a shot there.
Yeah. It was. He was in a bit of space there at the back of the because he's played in by Miggy, and I think he'd already made his mind up. I think he'd already shaped himself up for a pass. When I think you would have been better off taking it forward a little bit and having a shot.
There's a question for you there, Lee, from Dex. Who missed a sitter when we won our first game of the season in the 21-22? It was obviously against Burnley, and Wilson scored the winner because we won 1-0, but I can't remember who missed the sitter. No idea. Joe Willock seems to spring to mind, but I don't even think he started that game. Let me know in the comments, Dex, what the answer is. I have no idea. And I know your memory's not exactly brilliant, is it?
My memory's horseshit. So Newcastle have the ball at the back here. Really want to have a second goal. We've really got to take the sting out of this, because Burnley still look very much in this game. They're still very much pressing. They're not sitting back or deep or anything at the minute. So Newcastle have had 74% possession so far in this half. Now Newcastle got Trippier on the wing here. Miggy's run that defence. It finds Trippier. Dinks it in the first time. But to Isaac, who just misses Isaac.
That close.
Bayer again defends a little bit. Isaac somehow eludes Isaac. It's a lovely first-time ball in from Trippier, and I think it was just defended well.
Was that a corner?
It's dinked in. I'm not even sure it touched anybody, actually.
No,
it didn't. Missed a defender, missed Isaac. Beautiful dink ball, though. And Newcastle have the ball back again in Burnley's half.
We're turning the screw now.
Trips on the ball inside to Longy, but he's tackled, and so Burnley are going to make two subs here by the sounds of it.
J. Rodriguez missed that sitter. I wouldn't have guessed that one. And I probably should have, considering it's talked on for the last 30 seconds. It is the same J. Rodriguez. Jesus Christ. He's been at the club for God knows how many years. He's got to be what you would testimonial by now, like, has to be.
Now that's interesting. They've taken off Collishaw here, who was terrorising Dan Burn for large parts of that first half. He's gone off. So has Amdouni. And they brought on Rodriguez and Brun Larson. So a bit of an attacking change there. They're bringing on number 9. Or maybe it's like
Rodriguez brings experience for a kickoff. I don't know much about the other player, but Rodriguez has got a bit of a decent shot on him. Very similar to, is it Neves for Wolves? Who he's got a canny ping on him from outside the box. So maybe that's what they're trying to get one on. A few long distance shots, who knows?
Yeah, they're going to have to get closer to the box, though, because they're not really threatening too much yet in the second half, although they are still making Newcastle work for it. I really want us to get a second goal here.
We need one, because as much as we do look comfortable, 1-0 is never a comfortable scoreline.
Yeah, now there's 2-0. It's funny, isn't it? But Newcastle here still pressing Burnley back into their own box here, which is good to see. We've still got that little bit of fire in us. Need to be aware here, Shaw. Well done. Shaw just about does the job there. And Dan Burn mops up for a throw into Burnley, just over the halfway line down the right-hand side, our left. Company pacing up and down the manager's area there. Burnley building from the back, crossing the halfway line now. Looks like they're going to go down the left. Miggy, it looks like he's starting to do that weird chicken run, which I think he's probably starting to get a bit tired.
Yeah.
You know, that run where he starts like doing that all when he runs. He's starting to do that now.
Well, I think with Miggy, he'd chase a crisp pack in the wind if you told him to.
That's a good ball from Nick Pope's off his line to head it clear. And they're offside anyway. But that's another reminder that Burnley, that was a ball just over the top. There had 2 runners in on goal there, albeit offside. Just offside, I think, from Rodriguez, is it? No, yes. And just another reminder that they're not out of this game just yet. There's still a long way to go. Another 30 minutes to go. It's just ticked over 60. And we've got to be very careful what we do here. We've got to make sure we put this one to bed if we can. We've had chances. If this was Sheffield, we'd probably be 6 up by now. Oops.
Come on.
And Elliot Anderson has won a free kick just on the halfway line there down the right. Tonali warming up.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. If you were already hung now, would you be thinking of making any subs, considering they've made 2 and they've got a few fresh legs on?
Yeah, I think Miggy looks like he's I would imagine Miggy's going to come off just by the way he's running. He looks a little bit knackered. You can't really take off Isaac because we don't have an option to replace him unless you want to push Gordon in the middle or, God help us, Joe Linton. Yeah, those are really your only 2 options. Gordon probably would be all right, I'd imagine, but you need him. You need him with his runs and his pace and his energy elsewhere in the pitch. You need him everywhere. You can't do all. Oh, here comes Joe Linton. Nice, she is warming up on the touchline here. It'll be interesting to see who comes off.
I'm going to say Anderson. Get a bit more muscle in midfield.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Lovely switch of play from Shaw down to Miggy here on the right-hand side, inside Burnley's half. Cuts inside, looking for options, plays Gordon in, but it ricochets off a player, bounces off Gordon again, goes into the keeper's hands. I mean, as much as wanting to secure things up, you also want to be able to give some of your better players a bit of a rest before this PSG game, don't you? But
yeah,
you can't do it at 1-0.
No. At least we've got me travelling over the next 2 games. Yeah. So next 2 games are at home, so that's decent.
Yeah. Newcastle are going to build from the back here. Oh, no, they're not. Lascelles is just going to launch it, which he does. That's what you always get. Classic Lascelles. Let's just punt it forward and lose possession. And there's an example of, look at that. Gordon robbing the player off the ball there with his energy. Oh, God almighty, he gives it straight back. I'm in the middle of praising the bloke and he goes and gives it straight back, for God's sake. And Burnley just give it back to us. There's a lot of turnarounds right now. Turnovers, sorry.
Yeah.
Here's Miggy. Plays a simple one back to Trips, who feeds it inside to Isaac, who's got time to turn. And loses the ball eventually. And Bruno wins it back and wins a free kick. So that's pretty much centre in the pitch, centre in the Burnley half. And this will give a chance for Joe Linton, you'd think, to come on.
Very scrappy last 5 minutes there from both teams.
Yeah. And it is Ando. Anderson goes off. What a shame. He was so close to getting his goal.
He was.
Comes on for Joe Linton with his Michael Jackson bandage hand. I don't know what that is with that white, with his... Why is it always wrapped up? Is it just a sweat thing or something?
I don't know. It could even just be a good look thing, or he scored a goal with one on, so he keeps it on. Yeah, footballers are very superstitious, apparently.
Yeah. Well, he's came out with a few instructions for some of our players there, so let's see what that does. Free from Trips. Oh, he's going to play it wide to Gordon. Does a dink over the top. It's probably keeper's ball, and he catches it for once. 65 minutes almost up, Craigie. It's all Newcastle pretty much, but Burnley still look dangerous to me.
It's tetchy, isn't it? You just don't know what's going to happen.
Very. I mean, they've done well to stay in this game. You could argue that we've not done well to put away the chances that we had. Oh, players almost playing himself into trouble here. And they have. Again, Gordon robs them. How well is Gordon playing?
So good at reading the game, isn't he?
Yeah. Joe Linton's first touch, and Newcastle retained possession on the halfway line there.
Good play.
All of that came about from Gordon.
Yeah.
Robbing his man for the second time in about 2 minutes. And we again give the ball back cheaply. And then we get it back cheaply. And Bruno opts to go all the way back to Nick Pope to do a little reset. It's with Trippier. Just dropped off a little bit lately. That's a lovely ball through, almost getting to Joe Linton, doesn't quite reach him. Burnley on the ball here. Have a chance to run down the right wing here now, Burnley. If they want it. Play it inside. Nobody's closing this man down. And Miggy does a sort of karate kung fu block as the ball was getting switched and falls into the hands of Nick Pope. But, oh my God, Joe Linton's down already?
What?
It looks like Fabian Shaw's a little bit tight at the back there as well.
I think you need to get a swear jar, Dex. $2 coin in every time you start swearing at the TV. You'll be a millionaire by the end of the year.
Joe Linton's holding his hammy. Oh, please don't be injured. He's only been on a minute. He's only had one touch, I think.
Aye. This isn't good, is it?
We are racking up the injuries here. He's feeling the back of his...
Yes, he's hammy, aye.
The physio is stretching, seeing how it goes. He's feeling pain there. He's going to have to come off, isn't he? Oh, that's terrible look, that is.
Who are you going to bring on in his place, though? It's got to be Tonali, you think, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Christ, we're going through the numbers here. Who else is left? Joe's off. It looked like he was flinching there as the physio was doing the stretch exercises, so I can't imagine that's a good sign.
No.
And even if he's not like snapped his hammy, are you really going to risk it? I mean, has he not done his run-ups properly? But he's not done his warm-up routine properly. What else happened here?
He's well strapped up, but I think that's his other leg.
Yeah, he's going off. He's
Yeah,
taking off his
aye.
Wrexham hand. Bloody
Jesus
hell.
Christ. 5 minutes he was on, if that.
Good Lord. So now he's coming on. So this is when he was running through to meet that ball, and then he pulls up. Yeah, he pulls up with
Yeah,
his.
he
His
does,
hammy.
aye.
He's just running straight. He hasn't done anything. He hasn't stretched. He's just literally ran and then pulled something. So Tonali is on now. So there's another sub gone. Bloody hell.
That's
Big Joe's gone straight down the tunnel.
a nightmare, that.
That's probably the worst possible bloody sub you could ever imagine making.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a
Either, yeah. Thing is with a hammy, even if it's just a little pull, it could be, 2-3 weeks, maybe?
Yeah, tends to be a couple of weeks. Oh, that's a lovely dink over the top here from Bruno to Trips in space down the right hand side. He's like, once it's played in front of him. Oh, Burnley, you lucky bastards. The ball was played in by Trips there to Isaac. It just misses Isaac. The defender touches it, and as he touches it, Isaac just runs past the ball. If I'd have been any other way around there, that Isaac was in on a free shot there.
He's been a bit unlucky with those deflections and calls from the ref today. Any other game, he would have had 2 or 3 tap-ins.
Well played by Dan Burnham up the back there. And there's some weird bloody touches going on here. Back heels and reverse kicks and everything. So Burnley have the ball here on the left. They've got numbers up in front. The man's cut inside. He's cut down the left. He squares it. Oh, it's a last-ditch effort. There's going to be a blammo. It's blocked by Bruno, who's limping. Please do not go off. And just about get away with that. A lovely touch from Isaac to feed Miggy. He's in the middle now. He's got Tonali on the left. Can he find him? He can, just with a touch from the player. Tonali's touch is too hard. And the ball goes backwards. Bruno, where's Bruno gone now? He's all right. Thank God.
The game's starting to stretch now.
Yeah.
20 minutes to go, plus stoppage.
I imagine there'd be a huge amount of relief if we can get a second bloody goal. Tonali's quite advanced at the moment.
That was close from Burnley. Just goes to show that they are still in this.
Yeah.
And it would certainly be a few points dropped if it don't go on to win this game now.
Into the last 20 minutes here. And Burnley in the Newcastle half. There's a ball over the top here. It's cut out by Shaw, I think. Man on. Oh, my bloody God. Trippier just about gets enough on it back to Pope. Playing with fire here. Burn to Gordon. Gordon still got running in him. Look at him go. Oh, he tried to feed Isaac, who was easily defended. And,
good idea,
Gordon eventually gives away a free just over the halfway line to Burnley, who get it underway quickly. They are still in this game. There is still points here for Burnley.
Who we got left on the subs bench, Henley?
Dummett, Richie, Target Hall, Tino, Murphy, actually. He could have come on. But how many subs have we made? Is it just the 2 or 3 now?
2. I'll be 3 now, yeah. Because he subbed a sub, didn't we?
So he came on and went off again. So that's 2. Oh, Tonali's won the ball back down the left here. He's looking for options. What's he see? Inside of Bruno. Newcastle, middle of Burnley's half here, played down the right. Miggy feeds in, tries to feed in Trippier, but the touch is too heavy. Trippier manages to win a corner from that, from a touch from Taylor. And let's see what Newcastle can do from the set piece.
I agree with you on that one. Is this our first corner of the game?
No.
No?
No. Here we go. What can we do from this? This would be a wonderful time to get a second. And it goes. Headed well. On the edge of the box to Gordon. Tries to take shots, defended, and it spills to the far side to Trippier, who will let it go for another corner. Come on, boys.
Again, Dex, couldn't agree with him more on that one. We were lethal from set pieces against Sheffield United. Let's make one of them count now.
Come on, Trips. Something better this time.
On the penalty spot.
And it goes. Headed away easy again. Forced to Isaac. He's got Gordon on the overlap. Finds him. Gordon goes to goal. It's straight into the hands of the keeper, Trafford, sorry. Who doesn't spell it. And Burnley trying to get it underway. As they do. Down the left. Trippier is a little bit out of position here, so needs to track back. Burnley dink it to the right-hand side. It's going to be a little bit too heavy, maybe, and it goes off for a throw into Newcastle. That's just as well, really.
Yeah.
$15 minutes to go, give or take. Craig, do we rest on our laurels and just try and see this out at 1?
Nah, I'm never comfortable when it's just 1-0 forward. Too many bad memories of old regimes and stuff still haunt my dreams, 1-0 is never good enough to hold on to. Anything happening in the Premier League.
Well, Burnley's still pressing for an equaliser here.
They are.
Newcastle played up the wing. Gordon's trying to take on his man. It's easily defended against. I think Gordon's starting to run a little bit out of steam here.
Yeah. Burnley's got nothing to lose right now, have they?
Well, if they lose 1-0 or 2-0, I don't suppose it really matters. No, there's definitely avenues for them to get behind us. Like they've done it on several occasions, and we've just managed to snuff it out one way or another, or they've overhit it. PSG are going to be terrifying. Oh, they've just given the ball back to Gordon on the edge of the box here. He's cut inside. He's gone down
penalty?
under a challenge.
No,
penalty.
Nah.
Referee's given a
penalty.
Has he given a penalty? He's given a penalty.
He has as well. I thought he got the ball.
Let's see what VAR does.
Yeah.
So Gordon cuts inside.
Let's see.
And I'm not sure whether he touches that or not, does he?
I think he got the ball from one angle. Nah, he didn't. He took the play. That's a pen. No contact with the ball that I can see.
I think he has touched that ball. I think he has,
Nah, that's a penalty. At first, I thought he did make contact with the ball. But that second home game in a row, that Gordon has won a penalty for.
Have VAR signed off on it yet? I'm not convinced on that one.
He certainly didn't make any contact with the ball. And he went across the front of the player. So Gordon, whether he took a tumble, Dex seems to think VAR will overturn it. I don't see how they can, because he made no contact with the ball and only took the play.
It's only if it's an obvious error that they can overturn it, though, isn't it? So was that an obvious error?
No.
It's still going ahead as if it's a penalty.
I must admit, I genuinely thought he did play the ball at first. So the ref obviously had a better angle than what we did.
Well, it's a penalty.
Give the ref credit on this one. He's got the decision right.
Oh, here comes Isaac for the penalty. 75 minutes. How we need this extra goal. This will finish the game.
Big dog. When you've got ice running through those veins of yours, how?
Here we go. Goal! Beautiful. Low and steady, bottom corner. Keeper dives in the wrong direction. You don't save a shot from the Iceman. It is 2-0 Newcastle. Thank the Lord, Craigie, for that one. We needed that one.
Yes.
We absolutely needed that. That should be game, you'd think.
Vanilla Ice had a song regarding Big Dog before Big Dog was even born. I think the tune of Ice, Ice Baby, I believe, wasn't it? Because that man is ice cold. And that was a well-executed penalty.
Oh,
right in the bottom corner.
Get Dexy's negativity off there, man. Thank Christ. You're not kidding, mate. You're not kidding. And then the crowd, you can hear the crowd now. Crowd singing away. Lovely stuff. That
Jimmy,
should...
yeah, you did predict 2-0, didn't you? But you know that there's still probably 15 minutes left to play. The floodgates might open now. Who knows? So they haven't counted chickens too yet, mate.
I tell you what, there's still some incredible scores going on in this. So Burnley in Newcastle's half with a throw-in.
5-1 is on. Yes.
And Burnley playing dangerously at the back here. They've got nothing else to lose now. I suppose, Craigie. So I suppose the same mentality will be there.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a lovely step over there from Burnley down the right-hand side. He's racing down the right-hand side here. Burnley got a man free on the far corner. He's played it inside. They're going to find the man. He's cut it in. Woo! That was a heavy deflection of Sean Longstaff, and Pope was absolutely rooted there. And it's went wide, thank God, from Odebert. But just another reminder. Anyway. Just another reminder. Look at the space they're finding here.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the space. He was in acres on that far end. If he had managed to switch it earlier, then he would have been in on goal. Corner to Burnley. That's a header to goal. That's a wonderful save from Nick Pope.
Oof.
Lovely glancing header from Burnley there. Looks like it's going in. Nick Pope hasn't had a lot to do, so he had to be alert when he was needed there. He shouldn't be allowed to run like that. Dan Burns let him run. It's shocking, that is. It's Al-Dakil. Dan Burns lost his man there. I think it was Longstaff who let
him run.
Was it Longy?
It was, aye.
Corner is cleared by Miggy, forced in Bruno. Now, we've got a bit of a break on here. We've got Gordon down the left. We've got Tonali down the right. He goes for Tonali. It's inch perfect. It is. Cuts inside. Feeds Isaac. Isaac's in the box. Tries to do a clever little dink and hits the man. It goes out for a corner to Newcastle. And just like that, we're on the other side of the pitch. It's really getting stretched now.
That pass from Bruno was pinpoint.
Absolutely inch perfect. It even had the curve and the spin to just fall into the path of Tonali. I thought Tonali might have actually took a bit of run on that.
Yeah.
I think Isaac was cheekily trying to get a penalty out of that one, but the man's arms were right down by his side. It was never going to happen. I want to see Tonali get a goal.
Get another one. Cracking pass by Bruno. Another dollar.
So here we go. Way, corner we go. In it whips. In swinger. It's that was a header from Shaw, I think, and then saved by Trafford. I think it's gone off for another corner. Tonali was blocking off a little bit, but managed to get to it anyway. And Newcastle in no hurry to get on with this by the looks of things.
Don't blame them. But again, just kind of get at it on, isn't it? Just get on with it.
Yeah.
However. I mean, we should see the game out now being 2-0 up. We should.
Yeah, but
third puts the game to bed.
Here comes a corner. And it goes well defended. Burnley have a runner here. Gordon needs to be. Oh, sorry, we've got a bit of cover. And it's fed back to Trippier, who whips it in again. Far end, headed backwards. And Burnley managed to clear out for a throw into Newcastle. Midway in their half down the right-hand side. And again, Newcastle not in any particular hurry here. Fans in good voice, Craig.
Yeah, they are. Again, we're winning. We've got another clean sheet. Moving on up the table.
It's a lovely ball down there to Trips. One touch to Miggy, who thought Trips was going to overlap, but didn't quite. And Taylor lets the ball go out for a goal kick to Burnley.
Nice little shove from Trips there.
82 minutes coming up. Almost over the line there, Craig.
Almost. Not quite yet, though.
Burnley playing out the back again. They've insisted on doing this all game. It's got them in some sticky positions at times, but on the whole, they've managed to get away with it. And I think Bruno's just went down with an injury to his foot.
Oh.
Went in for a tackle there, and I think he's ended up kicking the foot. Is he down still? He's down. The referee's going to look at him. Oh, God, please, not your foot. He's back on his feet.
Let's
He's
hope
all
so,
right.
Mark. Third would be fantastic.
Yeah, Bruno's got a bit of a limp on him. Looked like a heavy kick. And obviously we know that he's got a foot problem, or he did have one anyway.
Yeah.
Would you be tempted to take him off? Give him a bit of rest now?
Who would you bring on for him, though? You can put Hall in midfield. He's played there
Oh,
before.
Burnley have played it down the left-hand side here. They've cut it to the back. And it's well cut out by Dan Burn for Burnley throwing. And again, they still threaten. I've actually been fairly impressed with how Burnley have kept at their at the task today.
Yeah.
You know, they haven't been a pushover by any stretch.
The league table isn't really doing them any justice, is it? Because they've been a very good side here. They've got nothing up front that has caused any potential type of threat. That's what's going to hold them back from climbing this table here. And
Bruno's went down again with another injury under a challenge from Burnley player who picks up a yellow. I think. No, he didn't. That's just bad tackle. It's just a bad tackle. From Collins on Bruno. So Bruno's feet have been taking a bit of a kicking in the last few minutes. He's up and he's all right, though, thank God. Yeah, I don't know. You could maybe... Would you bring in Richie and push Gordon into the middle, maybe?
You could, yeah, Richie. The only thing is, though... Yeah, that's what I said. Bring Hall on midfield. Yeah.
But I don't think he's... I mean, on the basis of the last time he played in midfield, I don't think he's... I think maybe he's more of a fullback than a...
Yeah.
Burnley trying to play out the back here, and it does a good job there on approaching Longstaff. And still lots of space down the right-hand side here for Burnley. 85 minutes almost up. And I think everyone's just basically slowing down the game here for a little bit of a break.
Vigilant. Burnley haven't played bad. They genuinely haven't. They've just created very little in front of our goal. They had a chance or two early on in the game, didn't take it, and luckily we've taken ours. So if you can create these chances throughout the season, you might do all right, but you need a outright goal scorer in that squad. And so far, I don't think you've got one from what I've seen today anyway.
There's another ball over the top here down the right-hand side to Bruno Larson. Dan Burns marking him. Tonali's come back in to help. Burnley playing the triangles down the right-hand side, just in line with the box. Cuts inside a little bit. And Newcastle not even really trying to get the ball here. They're just sort of maintaining the shape a bit.
Yeah.
Perhaps I think Burnley just won't get anywhere with this. I thought Burnley had played well today. They've had some really good breaks. They've had Newcastle really scampering back. That was dangerous, but it's balls going through to Nick Pope in the end. They've had some really good breaks. They've kept us honest. I think that's the biggest compliment you can say. Really, they've kept us honest.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that there is the nucleus of a good team here. Probably just need to be a little bit better on the ball. I think sometimes they should probably not try and insist on playing out from the back when they're being closed down, because that's just inviting pressure on themselves. And then, as you say, Craig, up front, they seem to be lacking something.
Yeah.
But they're getting themselves in some really nice positions. I think they've played well. They probably feel a little bit unlucky with this score, to be honest with you. Having said that, though, Newcastle have obviously had the lion's share of the possession. Most of the shots on target. So, maybe they shouldn't feel unlucky. It's kind of probably gone the way you might expect with all that dominance. But I mean, in the first 2 minutes, it could have been 2 up.
They could have, yeah. It was good save from Pope. Denied them to begin with.
His leg, that's a foul. But I think the best thing about Burnley has been their attitude. They've been They haven't came here thinking they're going to get overawed by the occasion. I think they've came here, they've deliberately tried to play. They haven't sat back, they haven't done any negative tactics. Even right now, on 87 minutes, they're still trying to play football. They're still trying to play through the lines. So I think they've done well, but I think probably they just need a little bit more. Maybe they'll make some signings in January or something. Burnley have made the last 2 subs.
There's obviously a lot of games to be played in the season, and no one gets relegated this early on. But the signs are, if you don't score goals, you don't stay in this league. Even if you do have a decent defence, as Burnley found out last time they went down, they probably are the best defence out of the bottom 6, I think it was. But because they couldn't score, that's what sent them down.
And look, getting strikers is not easy for any club, really, because they're like gold dust, aren't they? And they're all super expensive.
Yep, they've got a premium.
I mean, we've done remarkably well to have 2 top-class strikers at the club, both fit at the same time, notwithstanding whatever kept Wilson out of the squad today. Newcastle playing some nice 1-2s here in the Burnley half, but Burnley have managed to get the ball back and get a free kick. 88 minutes, and Longy's sat down. Longy's sitting down or something. Calf, maybe?
Looks like it. But Al Staples has made a good point there. Their most dangerous player was subbed off. That didn't really make much sense.
Who, the colour show?
Aye.
Yeah, it was a strange one, that. I assume... Well, no, he didn't look like he was knackered or anything. He was giving Dan Burn a lot of things to think about.
Yeah.
Burnley still playing from the back. Gordon's trying to close down the keeper with probably this last bit of running in his tank. Newcastle struggling to get a touch on the ball in these last few minutes, actually. Or at least to maintain possession anyway. But we've got it back in our own half. And,
you agree with that point from Dex there, Lee?
Yeah, I mean, well, last season, maybe not last season, season before perhaps, but last season we had a great season.
We did draw an awful lot of games, though.
Towards the end we did. Towards the end we did, yeah, when we ran out of steam a little bit, and just kind of limped over the line and let Man United take third, yeah. But I think we've done a professional job today. I think that's how you describe Newcastle. Nicked the ball through Bruno. He's got options left and right. He's found Isak in the box. Isak stumbles a little bit. Bruno, the Burnley gets some players back, and he eventually gets his shot away to tame on straight into the keeper's arms. Should have done better with that, really, Craig.
You should have. 6 minutes added on time. Time to get a third. You shut them up.
Get 2 more. Get my prediction right.
It's definitely options.
Did you say 3-0?
I did.
Burnley playing possession football on the halfway line here. Probably just trying to see this out without any further damage. Newcastle trying to close down the spaces. And thanks to Gordon's effort there, we managed to get a throw-in on the halfway line. Have you seen much from Tonali in his little cameo here?
He's had 1 or 2 neat little touches. Won the ball back once or twice in possession. He's been neat and tidy. He hasn't really needed to do much, but yeah, that's all he can really ask from him, to be honest.
I'm surprised Miggy's still on the pitch, because he looking like he was blown out of his arse beforehand.
He's always got a second window, hasn't
he? He does seem to find it, doesn't he? Newcastle just playing possession football here. Burnley not really inclined to press too hard.
I think they can see the game's done. I think they're just trying to wind the clock down now.
Yeah, just trying to see it out without any further damage, like I said. So Newcastle deep at the back here now. Trips to Isak, who plays to Longy, who feeds up the line. He gets another clatter. And Miggy's managed to lose his man. He's got Isak in space. He's got Gordon on the far end. He's found Gordon. Gordon can't quite get it under control. He's still in possession. It's Bruno on the ball here. He's going to try and up. The ball's found its way back to Gordon. He's inside the area now. On our left, he's going to try and have a winky dink. Lascelles, Tonali. Someone have a bloody shot, man. Trippier, Miggy. Trippier overlap, dinks into the middle. It's defended by Burnley. Trippier wins it back. Miggy's still on the ball here, still outside the area. Tries to go for a cute 1-2 with Bruno. Didn't come off, unfortunately. And Burnley have done exceptionally well to keep the ball here. And now they're running free up the left through Udebe. Newcastle managed to get it back, though. And come up to 93 minutes.
Tino and Murphy on for the last few minutes, or do you reckon that'd be a bit pointless now?
Nah, it's not really much point, is there? Just risk injury.
That's true. And with Big Joe going off.
Newcastle finally round the edge of the box here. Longy with a tired kick gives possession straight back to Burnley. Burnley have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the box, 7 in the area here, rather. The top in Newcastle's defensive third. Down the left, they still don't look particularly inclined to get the ball in the middle. It looks more, well, they've squared it a little bit here. Might open up a little bit. It's down the right hand side now at Newcastle's left. And there's going to be a shot. It's blocked. And Tonali heads it straight back to Burnley. Still on the edge of Newcastle's area here. And it's lifted into the middle. Defended easily by Shaw, I think it was. And Burnley still maintain possession. If they have a shot here, you never know. It's fed down the line. Nice ball. If he cuts that back. Oh, get rid of it. Jesus. And Newcastle just about get rid of it. Really nice play from Burnley there. It was. They were patient. They made the space. They made the runs. They did the right thing at the end there, cutting it back into space, and Longstaff let it run, which was a bit of a heart attack moment, wasn't it? Like, you should just pivot and kick. But Newcastle managed to take care of it. But yeah, nice play from Burnley, especially at this late stage. And Newcastle are struggling a little bit to get out of their own half here. So Burnley throw in. And in fact, Tino and Murphy are all coming on, which seems awfully pointless, given that they're going to be on for about. But they're going to be on for a minute. Seems kind of pointless. Watch this rocket from Miggy. Woof. Pick the peanuts out of that one.
That,
and then Gordon wins the penner.
Yeah, good call from the ref on that one. He made a few clangers in the first, but he hasn't done much wrong in the second, and he did get the decision right for the penalty.
Yeah, he's had a strange performance. So Tino and Murphy on for the last minute. Big Dog is going off, as has Miggy, I believe.
Yeah, so Murphy up top, you reckon? For the next
Gordon,
30
Gordon
seconds
perhaps?
or so. Gordon up top with Murphy out wide, maybe.
I think at this stage it's just about Gordon's gone through the middle. It's just about seeing it out now.
Yeah.
Gordon's got a hell of an engine on him. He's still running around the place.
Mm-hmm.
And the ball's with Burnley. They're just playing around the back here. Newcastle happy to let them do it. No danger where it is. 96 minutes are up. And that's it, full time.
Yes.
Woo!
Get in. 2 points, 2 goals, another clean sheet, another 3 points in the bag. How are the lads? Come on.
We'll take it. Let's have a look at some of the scores while we're at it. Arsenal 4-0 to Bournemouth. Luton 2-1 on the verge of the first win of the season against Everton, who are probably going to struggle this entire season. Crystal Palace have beaten Man United at Old Trafford. Incredible. West Ham beating Sheffield United 2-0. Wolves are still leading Man City 2-1. So some of these games are still going into long stretches here. Let me just refresh this in case these are finished. No, still in play a lot of those. Well, it says we are, but we're not. Let's have a look at the table then.
Aye, let's get it up.
So Newcastle remain in 8th on 12 points with an 11 goal difference. And again, by the way, that's the 5th game in a row with a clean
With
sheet
a clean sheet. I think you're right now.
in all competitions.
Mhm.
From going from not being able to keep the ball out of the net to being able to keep shutouts for 5 games in a row, it's pretty impressive. Suspect it's going to come to an end on Wednesday, but we'll see how that goes. West
you never know.
Ham. West Ham with 1.1, Newcastle 13 points in 7th. And then Spurs, Brighton, Villa into the top 4 with that thumping win over Brighton. Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man City. So Man City have dropped points. Arsenal have closed the gap, and Liverpool can now go top of the league if they beat Spurs in the late kickoff.
Big incentive for them there. Huge incentive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Dex with a comment there saying Ten Hag getting sacked before we play them. That normally happens to us, doesn't it? They get the new manager bounced just as we due to play them.
That'd be bloody typical, wouldn't it? Wolves have beaten
But,
Man City 2-1.
That's a huge result, that.
Ruben Diaz and Huang Hang and Alvarez for City.
But,
Well. What a turn off for that one.
But tell you what, though, we had to sit and grind out the result of that one because it certainly wasn't plain sailing, that's for sure.
Anderson, the one that we were linked with, Crystal Palace defender.
Oh,
He's got the only goal of the game at Old Trafford to win it for Palace. And, well, that's quite interesting, isn't it? I'm waiting for some stats here. Well, we're going to get some stats for this game. Oh, we'll get the goals first. So, Craig, sum up that one for us if you could.
Not the best performance, but certainly not the worst. We dug deep, ground out a result, and it was another clean sheet. But more importantly, another 3 points pushes us further up the table.
I think Burnley made that a lot harder than I expected, for sure. I thought it'd be like a 4-0 or something. But bloody hell, but in the first few minutes, they could have easily been 2-0 up. Fair play to them. They made it very difficult. Here comes some stats. As St. James's Park empties out. Just wait for the numbers here. So it was 53 possession overall to their 47. I think a lot of that came in the last 10 minutes for Burnley. 20 shots to their 8. 8 of ours were on target. They only had 2 on target. 5 corners to their 3. 7 fouls to their 15. And 1 yellow card for Newcastle and 3 for Burnley. Speaking of that yellow card, Craig, Anthony Gordon's going to miss the next game.
He is. I think the next game, if memory serves me correctly, is West Ham. They're not doing too bad at all this season, so he will be missed in that one. But again, I'd like to say we have options, but now with Big Joe going down, who knows how long he's going to be out for. So
yeah,
that's going to be a big miss.
That was an absolute
hopefully
shit,
it's more of a precautionary thing than anything. But yeah, that left side could be slightly weak compared to what we used to. I mean, would you put Anderson out there? That's a good option. Anderson he's an outright left winger, so he would be my first choice. But
Luton Town have beaten Everton, so that's that.
Yeah,
I mean, do you think? I had a question to say about. Do you think? Does that red card? Does that suspension that doesn't carry over to the Champions League? Then it's basically just league.
No, it's domestic only.
Yeah.
So it's the West Ham game he'll miss. And just like Dimmy said there, Anderson's best position is in left wing. So maybe it's the opportunity he gets. He's not going to kick Gordon out of the team, but if he can put in a good quality performance, then, who knows what could happen.
All right, Craigie. Well, Newcastle with the 5th clean sheet in a row across all competitions. They have beaten a very determined Burnley 2-0 at St. James's Park. Could have been more, but there again, Burnley could have scored against us as well. So in the end, I think you have to be happy with the performance. There's a problem with Joe Linton. He was on for 5 seconds and then went off with an injury. So it looks like something's gone with his hamstring. He didn't look comfortable when the physio was testing him out on the pitch. So we'll have to see what comes of that. Bruno took a few kicks to his heels. And Isaac's had a full 90 minutes worth of running, so hopefully Wilson can come in against PSG, and maybe we can bring Isaac on later. Give me your man of the match, please, Craig, and we'll wrap it up. It's a tough one, isn't it?
It's a tough one, actually, because there wasn't really a standout performer, but I'm probably going to go with Miggy for that goal and his endless running all game.
Yeah, that's what you get from Miggy. You get the running, don't you? I'm going to give it to... Oh, God, that Trippier was so close. I might give it to Gordon, and I'm bloody cheerleader for Gordon, but he won that second penalty. He won that penalty that got us our second goal, and that pretty much settled the contest. He never stopped running the whole game. There was plenty of occasions where he's ran back and dispossessed a Burnley player in a dangerous position. And I just think he brings so much to this team that he's going to be a miss against West Ham. Honestly, he'll be a big miss. But
you will.
We'll leave it there. Craigie, next game up is PSG next week. We'll do Are we doing a preview of that? We're doing a review of this game. And a preview.
We've also got a guest. We got a guest who is a specialist in League 1 football. So keep an eye for that one. That is due Tuesday night for us. So Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, depending on where you're watching the world. It is a returning guest. We've had him on before. Absolutely cracking fella. So keep an eye out for that one.
Yep, nice one. All right, Craigie, let's leave it there. Thanks to everyone who has watched. Toon with another win. 5 clean sheets in a row. We are still in 8th, but, we are only 1 point behind West Ham, so we are going in the right direction. Thanks to everyone. Cheers to you, Craigie. We'll see you next time.
Cheers, up.